Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Cyberpunk, I Got a Man of Steel. Chapter 91. I think we can talk. Please come over here, we will explain clearly. This matter is very difficult, it is not clear on the phone. I want to know who sent you to find me. Someone recommended you. I can't tell you the specific situation. Can we meet and talk about it in detail? Okay, let's go then. I'll send you the address later, bye. Elizabeth hung up the phone after finishing speaking. What's wrong, Yi Fei? Lucy asked. Well, a woman said she came to me with a difficult matter and wanted me to solve it. Now, I want to see who dares to hire you to do something. V raised his eyebrows and said, after all, although the search of Wangban is much less intensive now, it is still re-investigated. Moreover, Hanako Arata seems to be coming to Night City recently. In order to avoid what happened to the Kondi building last time, they will definitely want to avoid the situation like last time as much as possible. It's no big deal, I'll just check it out by myself, and I'll call you if there's anything to do. After Yi Fei finished speaking, she took the elevator down. Not long after, Yi Fei arrived at the address sent by Elizabeth. In a somewhat gloomy alley, there is only one luxury-looking vehicle inside, and a person who looks like a bodyguard is standing beside the car. After walking over, the bodyguard saw Yi Fei and asked, "Excuse me, are you Mr. Yi?" "Yes, Elizabeth called me." Yi Fei nodded. "Please get in the car, please." Open the car door. Inside is a middle-aged man who looks relatively easygoing. "Hello, Mr. Yi, my name is Jefferson Pararis, and you have already contacted my wife Elizabeth." After seeing Yi Fei, Jefferson shook hands with him and briefly introduced. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Pararis. Well, actually, I've wanted to know you for a long time." Yi Fei thought that Jefferson would say the same things as in the game, but he actually paid attention to himself. "Oh, interesting, it seems that you, Mr. Jefferson, have been following me for a long time." Yi Fei raised his eyebrows and said, "Hee, Mr. Yi is the one who can subdue cyber psychosis in an instant. I was lucky enough to see it in the reference room of NCPD." Jefferson said with a smile. Hearing this, Yi Fei squinted his eyes. He felt that this task should not be boring. "Oh, is that so? But I'm not here to hear that, Mr. Jefferson, please tell me about your commission." Yi Fei leaned on the chair in the car with his arms folded and said, "Carter, drive," Elizabeth said to the driver. The car started slowly. Elizabeth, "Well, as you probably know, Mayor Lucius Lane has passed away." Yi Fei, "I know, do you want to know the cause of his death?" Jefferson, "And the details of how and when he died. But I remember that the officials said that they have found out, and didn't someone try to attack him a few days ago?" Yi Fei said with a flat face. "Mr. Yi, we are all smart people. The authorities must have concealed this matter. The cause of Mayor Ryan's death is not that simple." Jefferson said with a serious face. "The NCPD report shows that he died of a cardiovascular implant. Death by malfunction. Did the trauma team not be alerted?" Yi Fei said something at this time, which immediately cheered Jefferson up. "Yeah, why didn't the trauma team go to Mayor Lane's vital signs?" At this time, Jefferson caught the blind spot as soon as Yi Fei reminded him. After all, as the mayor, it is normal for Baijin members of the trauma team. But why did the customers' vital signs appear abnormal and they didn't leave? You know that even if you are blown to ashes, the trauma team will try to collect your remains for you, and Mayor Ryan died at home without activating the trauma team. Isn't it paradoxical that the NCPD report that Lioness died of a malfunctioning cardiovascular implant did not bring in the trauma team, which could monitor the client's vital signs at all times? In Jack's words, Baijin members can recruit people from the trauma team. This is not bragging. I think Mr. Jefferson should have a direction of investigation." Yi Fei said with a smile. "Yes, thanks to Mr. Yi's reminder, there should be some bugs in NCPD." Jefferson nodded and said, "You should search down, should be able to reproduce something, according to this train of thought." Yi Fei stretched himself. In fact, he knew that even if Jefferson searched down, he would at most find out that Ryan died in the Red Queen's Race Club. The excuse is also very sufficient. After all, the mayor died of an overly stimulating hikeomung. Isn't this a shame for the city government? Although the city government of Night City basically has no face. But Jefferson was different. He wanted to change the status quo of Night City wholeheartedly, so he needed a good reason to persuade more people to support themselves. It's a pity that what he doesn't know is that he is being monitored by mysterious forces, and has even begun to manipulate his behavior. Finally the car came to a stop and Yifei was about to get out of the car when Jefferson stopped him. Mr. Yi, I wonder if you are interested in being my assistant. I will pay you a salary that satisfies you, Jefferson said with some expectation. Jefferson, I prefer a free life. If you have a commission, you can find me, but I'm not good at giving advice. Yifei got out of the car after speaking, looked at Yifei's back, and Elizabeth asked a little puzzled. Jefferson, even if this Yifei is capable, it's not enough for you to recruit him yourself. Elizabeth, you may not know that this person's ability is definitely more than that. I think he should have more secrets that have not been discovered, Jefferson said. And Yifei didn't care about Jefferson and Elizabeth's inner activities at this time, and he just wanted to see what the so-called wandering AI was like after taking this task. If he dared to hack into his own system, Yifei would dare to find him out by himself. He still needs an electronic pet. Decades have passed, and the government in Night City is still stinky. Johnny was standing on the side of the street leaning against the railing and said, "How do you know it stinks?" Yifei asked with interest. "Please, what I heard from that guy just now is that the former mayor was assassinated, and the NCPD didn't investigate at all. It's no different from Night City decades ago. Politicians are always looking for hired soldiers to assassinate their rivals," Johnny said with an old-fashioned look. "This matter is not as simple as you think." Yifei shook his head and said, "Come on, the politicians in Night City are all the same. The one you see is at most a bit like a human being." As a rebel, Johnny has a sneering attitude towards politicians. In his opinion, these guys are basically conniving and not a good thing. Ding. Caller ID Judy Alvarez. "Judy, what do you need from me?" Yifei answered the phone without much hesitation. "Yifei, can you come to the Ritz bar? I have something I want to talk to you about." In the picture, Judy looks a little tired, and it seems that she hasn't rested for a while. "Okay, I'll go now. Thanks, Rita, I will also say hello in advance." Judy hung up after finishing speaking. Wow, it's another girl. You've helped a few girls these days," Johnny said in a teasing tone. "What do you know, it's pure friendship." Yifei gave Johnny a white look. Calling his sword in the stone, Yifei waited for a while, and his sword in the stone arrived at his position. Yifei got in the car and drove towards the Ritz bar. All the cars along the way hurriedly avoided the sports car, for fear of scratching it. The only people in Night City who can afford this kind of car are some big shots, and it would be good to lose money if they get scratched. When they meet a big guy with a bad temper, they might be able to skin them and throw them to the scavenger. "It's a nice car, but it's too flashy for my Porsche." Johnny sat on the co-pilot and looked at the various high-tech interiors and said, in his opinion, everything has become like this. Changing from manual to automatic does not have the pleasure of sprinting at all. 10 minutes later, Yifei parked the sword in the stone at the door of the Ritz bar. "Hey, Yifei, are you driving a new car?" When Rita saw the sword in the stone driving towards the door of their bar, she thought it was some big guy, but she didn't expect it to be Yifei, an acquaintance. "Well, you have to help me take care of my car. I'm going to find Judy." "No problem, just buy me some wine next time you come." "Haha, no problem, you can drink whatever you want." After exchanging pleasantries with Rita, Yifei walked straight from the backstage to Judy's studio. At this time, the lights in the studio were dim, and the equipment was not turned on. A bunch of unedited first versions of Mewtwo were placed on the ground. The desk, which is usually fairly tidy, is full of cans of beer. "Judy, what are you drinking so much for?" Yifei's voice immediately called out Judy, who was squinting slightly. "Yifei, Xiao Ai is missing. Since the commission she made with you last time, she hasn't contacted me again, and she hasn't answered the phone. It's been 3 days," Judy said with some anxiety on her face. Although Judy has some good feelings for Yifei now, but in essence, she still hasn't straightened Judy, so Evelyn is the person Judy cares most about now. "You want me to help you track down Evelyn's whereabouts?" Yifei said. "Yes, Evelyn is a doll and works in Genting." Judy took out a pack of cigarettes as she spoke, rubbed some lines on the pack with her hand, and handed it to Yifei. There is Yunding's address on it. Yifei, you can rest assured that I will pay you all the rewards I should have. What are you talking about? Your friend is my friend. Don't worry, I will bring Evelyn back. Hearing Yifei's words, Judy also breathed a sigh of relief. After all, she knew how popular the Mewtwo game that Yifei bought from the studio was recently. Zudi was a little worried that Yifei didn't like Yifei, but after hearing Yifei's words, Zudi realized that she was worrying too much. Thanks Yifei, I can't find a better mercenary than you. After saying goodbye to Judy, Yifei took the cigarette case and sat back in the car. After glancing at the address above, he activated the sword in the stone and headed there. I'm stupid, you hold a cigarette but you don't smoke. How can you bear it? As a person who never leaves his cigarette, Johnny couldn't help but want to take a couple of puffs when he saw the cigarette case in Yifei's hand. I'm not a smoker and I don't have that much need to smoke. Yifei gave Johnny a white look. In his previous life, he would usually choose to light a cigarette to smoke when he was under too much pressure. Now he's not under a lot of pressure, and he's in such a good mood, why should he smoke this thing? Thinking about Yifei, he dialed Jack and the others. It is estimated that there is no entrustment to do Jack these few days, and Jack is almost overwhelmed. Jack, there is work to do, you come to Genting now. What, Genting? Yifei, why did you go to that place? Hearing what Yifei said, Jack was stunned. As a qualified old driver, Jack certainly knew Yunding, but what did Yifei do in Yunding? There are two beauties, Lucy and Vi, at home, and they need to go to Genting to play. I'm going to Yunding for business. Judy's friend is gone. She used to work in Yunding. I'm looking for her now. Are you coming? Yifei cursed with a smile. Come on, to be honest, Yifei, I've been so busy these days that I'm going to rust. If you don't come to me again, I'll think you've run away. Jack immediately agreed. Although these few days have plenty of time and money, Jack still feels that the life of a mercenary is suitable for him after a wave of consumption and indulgence. Then I'll wait for you downstairs in Yunding. Yifei hung up after finishing speaking, and then called David again. Brother Yi, what's wrong? Brother Yi will take you to see the world. Do you know where Yunding is? The skyscrapers over Japan Street. I'll wait for you on the first floor. Okay, my mother has been nagging me to death for the past few days, saying that I must have been kicked by you, Brother Yi. David looked at Gloria who was cleaning the house and was a little speechless, dragged. They made a lot of money from the Cyanbai building, and David bought a nice house. In Santo Domingo, the apartment size is similar to Yifei's apartment in the Valley area, but because the location is not so good, so the money is worth it. Although the price is the same, the apartment size is much larger than that of Yifei. As a result, Yifei didn't give David any tasks these days, and most of the people David knew were his classmates from Wangban or the prosthetic doctor. But he no longer looks down on the little money from selling Hei Cheomong, so he has been playing the games of Yifei's studio for a few days. So much so that Gloria couldn't stand it anymore, asking if he was kicked out of the team by Yifei. Although at the beginning Gloria was worried that Yifei and David would lose their lives because of the dangerous mission. But since Gloria knew that Yifei even had a speed pass in the Cyanbai building, she didn't worry about any dangerous problems at all. Just kidding, David told Gloria the truth. Yifei hit from the 100th floor to the first floor, and then he still had the strength to kill Adam Hammer. If this kind of person leads you, if you don't hug your thighs tightly, you are simply sick in your head. After waiting 10 minutes for homework, David and Jack both arrived at the skyscraper. Yifei, what's the situation with this entrustment? Do you still need to come to Genting for work? Jack said. Judy asked me to help her find someone named Evelyn Parker who works in Genting. She provided the video of Cyanbai building before. Hey, so it's still a high-level doll. Jack knows that the high-level dolls in Genting will have their own regular high-level customers, but it's just heard. Brother Yi, what are we going to do? David asked directly. How to do it? Just type in, Yunding is the territory of the Tiger Claw Gang, we don't need to be polite. Yifei said with a flat face. Since the last time Miyagawa Iris asked Okada Wakako for their information but failed, he went to the hospital to visit his son the next day and wanted to say something. It turned out that my son had a problem with the brain system in the early morning and was burned to death. This made him say that as long as anyone can kill Yifei and any of them, he can go and receive a bonus of 100,000 euros from him. However, because Yifei and the others do things relatively cleanly, they always blacken the surveillance cameras before doing things, and Cheomeng will also blur Jack's and their faces or cut them off directly. This makes many people in Night City only know the Yifei group, but not what they look like. But since the Tiger Claw gang dared to issue this bounty to reward them, Yifei naturally wouldn't let them go easily. After all, killing these scumbags didn't bother Yifei at all, and the Tiger Claw gang was a gang with a reputation as the scavengers in this city. They often carry out kidnapping activities for human trafficking and force some people into getting to work for them to earn money. At the same time, he also participated in the manufacture of a notorious drug called Flash, which was sold to the bottom people. I will also help the Arasaka group to complete some things that cannot be put on the table. After entering Yunding, the lady at the front desk saw Yifei bowed first and then said, "Welcome to Yunding, a place that understands your inner desires. Before serving, please connect to our terminal. We didn't come here to play." Yifei shook his head and said, "Well, what are you here for?" The lady at the front desk is already in a daze. What is the purpose of coming to Genting? Not to have fun. He's here to find someone. Jack reached behind his back and drew his 2 pistols. David also silently took out his newly bought Ajax rifle. Don't kill me, I'm just a BCAC receptionist, I don't know anything, I was forced." When the front desk lady saw that Jack and David had drawn out their weapons, she knew that the troublemaker was coming, and immediately raised her hands to show that she was not a threat at all. "Don't be nervous, go back to your lounge, lock the door, it may be a little long after the movement." Yifei took out a free kinetic energy pistol. The 3 of them entered the cloud top directly. "You guys, no weapons are allowed here." The Tiger Claw gang members inside saw Yifei and the others walking out with guns, and in a split second they all pulled out their guns and pointed at Yifei and the others and shouted, "If you don't dare to shoot, don't take it out." Jack and David didn't have any nonsense. They opened fire directly, and pointed guns at them for a moment, and several Tiger Claw gang boys were directly beaten into a hornet's nest. Yifei directly hacked into the camera of Yunding, and soon, Yifei swept out the structure and how many thugs there were. It has to be said that the actual area here is at least 2 or 3 times larger than the cloud top in the game, and the number of thugs is also much larger. There are at least 80 younger brothers from the Tiger Claw gang stationed here. In fact, thinking about it, Yunding is also the cash cow of the Tiger Claw gang, and it is also a place where many bigwigs in Night City like to come. It is very necessary to have a good security system here. After the 3 of them hit the stairs in the upper VIP area, Yifei said, "Jack, David, I will send you the distribution of the personnel on the lower floor now. Just clean up those people, there is no need to hurt those puppets, I'll go to the upper floors to find that fool." Yifei sent David and Jack the approximate locations of all Tiger Claw gang members, and kicked through the bulletproof door of the confinement with 1 kick. "No problem, Yifei, if you have any troubles, please call us, we will go up to help you soon after cleaning up." After Jack finished speaking, he took David to clean up the remaining Tiger Claws on the first floor to help the younger brothers. Yifei walked up without hesitation, but a gun turret protruded from the top of his head and fired fiercely at Yifei. Yifei jumped up with a backhand and punched the turret. Then continued to the VIP area. As for the wooden man, everyone was dumbfounded after listening to the little brother's report. This is Yunding, one of the places where the Tiger Claw gang has the most defense forces. Why do 3 people dare to come and make trouble? Hey. And according to this little brother, those 3 people were extremely cruel. Basically, when they saw a member of the Tiger Claw gang, they would shoot their heads directly, and they beat them to death. Could it be that I ran into the same group last time? The wooden man suddenly remembered that before, a group of mercenaries took another important stronghold of them. I heard that they wanted to steal some data, but after they found out, the group of mercenaries actually slaughtered their stronghold. Because it's a gang thing, the NCPD doesn't care about it at all, and those NCPD members can't wait to count on Yifei to kill all the Tiger Claw gang. Hurry up and call for reinforcements. Just say that the group of people came to Genting to make trouble last time. The wooden man hurriedly ordered. Then he thought about who he had offended these past few days and could actually recruit these ferocious mercenaries. I'm not that Evelyn finding someone to kill us. The wooden man suddenly remembered Evelyn, who had suddenly behaved abnormally with a chip a few days ago. At that time, he was adhering to the principle of making the best use of everything. Tortured severely, that Evelyn, who usually looked down on Arasaka Raizen because of his favor, gave her a meal, and sent her to Brother Finger after getting tired of playing the day before yesterday. Boom! After a loud noise, under the shocked gaze of the wooden man, Yifei tore open the iron door of the wooden man's office with one hand. Blockhead! Seeing that the wooden man didn't answer, Yifei frowned, walked to his side and gave him a slap. I'm asking you something. You're just a wooden man, aren't you? Yifei's slap was slapped to the wall by the wooden man, and the severe pain hit, and the wooden man realized what happened. But the legs are still weak. I'm a wooden man, aren't you afraid of revenge from the Tiger Claw gang when you do these things? At this time, the wooden man still pinned his hopes on the deterrent power of the Tiger Claw gang against Yifei, but his calculation was wrong. Yifei is here to make a big noise, Tiger Claw gang. Yifei is fighting Tiger Claw gang. Yifei, I've finished cleaning up the mess below, who is this guy here? Jack and David rushed here after cleaning up the tiger claws in the lower level of Yunding. Nice job. This guy is our target this time. After Yifei finished speaking, his gaze returned to the wooden man. I'm only giving you one chance. Where did Evelyn Parker go? Or where did you send her? Hearing Yifei's words, the wooden man's face immediately turned pale. He was thinking just now that if Yifei came to look for Evelyn, he would probably be doomed. Evelyn's behavior chip is broken. I took care of her for 2 days and if it still didn't work, I sent her to Brother Finger. The wooden man dare not hide it now. God Amaterasu, the guarding force of their Yunding is much stronger than the strength of the stronghold that Yifei and the others took down before. It turned out that Yifei and the others had only been here for 10 minutes from the thugs who wiped out their Genting. This is simply not personal, but even if he is telling the truth, he dare not say that he tortured Evelyn for 2 days, he can only say that he took care of him, otherwise he probably lost his life. Take care, you treat me like a 3-year-old, right? Why do you take care of her because you are not related to her? Yifei sneered. This wooden man refused to tell the truth even when he was about to die. Ding. As Yifei spoke, she called to Judy. Yifei, how's it going? Any news about Evelyn? Judy answered the phone anxiously, asked. Evelyn's behavior chip is broken, and she was tortured by wooden men for 2 days and sent to Brother Finger. Yifei could only answer truthfully. The wooden man who drafted. Yifei, kill him for me. Kill him for me. After hearing Yifei's words, Judy looked at the wooden man with half of his face swollen and cursed angrily. Okay, don't worry, Judy, this guy is dead. After Yifei finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Don't kill me. I have money. I can give you money. Seeing Yifei give him a very dangerous look, the wooden man begged bitterly. Jack, what's wrong, Yifei? Jack asked with some doubts when he heard Yifei call him. I remember that your Valentino gang has some jobs that can keep people awake, don't you know how to do it? After Yifei finished speaking, Jack smiled and nodded. Of course, I was a big brother in Valentino's gang. I've dealt with a lot of scum like this beast. I still remember the trick. As Jack spoke, he looked at the wooden man eagerly. From the conversation between Yifei and Judy just now, Jack knew that this guy did dirty things to Judy's friends. Although Jack used to be a member of the gang, he has a bottom line in everything he does. He doesn't care about the younger brothers of other members of the gang when it comes to women. Anyway, if my little brother dared to do that kind of thing, he would definitely give him a hard time. Now that Yifei has spoken, Jack will show the wooden man what hell is. Half an hour later, Jack looked at the wooden figure that had completely lost its human form in front of him, stretched his muscles and bones, looked at Yifei and said, "It's done like this, I guess it won't be able to make any tricks anymore." The wooden man in front of him had lost all his teeth, his fingers were twisted into strange angles, and his nails were pulled out one by one. The hand bones and leg bones were pinched and crushed inch by inch, and even a little bit of white could be vaguely seen in some fractured places. At this moment, the wooden man could only make this incomprehensible sound. Well, It's almost there, but we can still make up for it here. Let's go to Brother Finger to find someone. Yi Fei stood up and shot the wooden man's fifth limb as he spoke. Yi Fei is still ruthless, I just forgot that there is still a place to torture him. Seeing that the wooden man was tossed and screamed by the severe pain at first, and then with the blood loss, the wooden man who had completely lost his vitality gave Yi Fei a thumbs up. David, how are you? There's nothing uncomfortable about it. Yi Fei looked at David who was stunned aside and said. Ah, it's nothing. I've gone to the Cyan Bai mansion with Brother Yi. I'm fine with this kind of scene. Besides, this guy is a scumbag, so he has to die like this. David reacted after hearing Yi Fei's words. He didn't think the wooden man was miserable, but he felt that he even wanted to get involved with it. David, do you feel uncomfortable with Sean Weinstein with the heavy hammer? Yi Fei frowned and glanced at David's back, and there was the Fifth Order Cianwistan rage that was removed from Adam Hammer that day. My goodness is Brother Yi. Just now I killed more than a dozen members of the Tiger Claw gang with Sean Weinstein. At this time, David no longer had the dazed look just now, and it was no different from usual. Just seeing this, Yi Fei's brows were still frowning. He felt that the prosthetic body that David might have installed was a bit too heavy for him. David, if it really doesn't work, just switch back to the original Sean Weston. Yi Fei persuaded. No, I can get used to this. David waved his hand. When he pressed this thing, Lao Wei tried his best to stop it, but under his repeated requests, Lao Wei couldn't install it for him. He has been working hard to get used to this new prosthetic body for the past few days, so as not to fall into a situation where Yi Fei can only carry it in front, and he and others can only turn around and run away. Yi Fei gave David a meaningful look, but said nothing in the end, and could only take Jack and David to Brother Finger's clinic. Yi Fei, do you think Evelyn will still be here? Standing downstairs of Brother Finger's clinic, Jack asked with a suspicious expression. After all, Evelyn has been sent to Brother Finger's clinic for 2 days, even if Brother Finger likes this doll better, he won't play with it for 2 days. It might even have been sent to the scavengers and they might have cut it. I don't know, anyway, go up and ask and you will know. Yi Fei shook his head, he didn't know either. After all the time in the game, Evelyn was tortured and finally had a mental breakdown and committed suicide. 5 or 6 days have passed here, and it might be killed by the scavengers in the game who filmed Black Super Dream after filming. Going upstairs to the door of Brother Finger's clinic, Yi Fei took a look at a group of puppets sitting outside the door, both male and female. Some are wandering warblers on the street, and some are dolls who work in Genting like Evelyn. Brother Finger basically doesn't install prosthetic bodies for mercenaries here. He also knows what level he is, and only repairs prosthetic bodies for some partners. And most of the time, Brother Finger will enjoy himself after anesthetizing his partners, and then replace or repair their bodies properly. As for what is special about him, it should be that he has 2 particularly useful prosthetic bodies. Pain editor and full width resistance. Judy was leaning against the wall next to the group of puppets. From time to time, he would look at the stairs to see if Yi Fei had arrived. Yi Fei. Seeing Yi Fei's arrival, Judy quickly walked up to him. Well, let's go to Brother Finger to find out now. Yi Fei nodded. Alas, what are you doing? Line up. Do you understand? Line up. No, you can't jump in line. Sit down for me honestly. A few dolls in scantily clad clothes saw Yi Fei and the others anxious to open the door of the operating room. They were all dolls with faulty prostheses, and they had been waiting in line for quite a while. Now Yi Fei and the others are going to jump in line, of course they are not happy. You have 2 choices, either shut up or I'll kill you right now. After Yi Fei finished speaking, David and Jack revealed the guns hanging around their waists. Those puppets shut up in an instant, they don't want to die more than the broken prosthetic body, although life now is already worse than death. Have you seen Brother Finger? Yi Fei asked. Hee, this guy is harder to see than the best doctors and experts in the city, but Yi Fei, there is no need to make things difficult for them, after all, they are earning hard money. Judy shook his head and said. There are so many couples here, if you wait, you don't know how long you will have to wait. But Yi Fei and the others had already fired their guns, so these puppets probably didn't dare to say anything more. I'm just asking Brother Finger to ask something, it won't take much time, you should agree. Yi Fei turned around and said something. No comment, no comment. The puppets nodded and said, well, they're fine. Yi Fei turned to Zhu Di and said, you have shown your gun, they must dare not have any objections. Judy said dumbfoundedly, we're just asking him for a question, and it won't take a few minutes if everything goes well. Yi Fei explained to the dolls that he is not a murderous maniac, only the kind of big villain he would kill without hesitation. Like the Tiger Claw gang who deal in drugs, buy and sell people, and force them into prostitution, Yi Fei will definitely not be lenient when he sees that they kill one by one. Brother Finger, if he is sensible, Yi Fei does not recommend keeping him alive, but it still depends on Judy's reaction. After all, this matter still needs to consider Judy's feelings. Hearing Yi Fei's affirmative words, the couples also quieted down. To be honest, they would at least treat them as adults if they were willing to answer their questions. If they were the punks from the Tiger Claw gang or other gangs, they wouldn't care what their partners said. Most people just treat them as recreational items. At this moment, the door of the clinic's operating room opened, a puppet walked out, and Yi Fei and Zhu Di walked in. Brother Finger was washing his hands when he heard footsteps behind him and said without turning his head, hi, may I help you? We have a problem and want to talk to you, we're Mo Kessie. Judy asked, Mo Kessie, tell me earlier, if you have any questions, just ask. When Brother Finger heard Judy's words, he turned around awkwardly and said, although Mo Kessie gang is a group of girls, their methods are no worse than the old gangs in the city. Otherwise, they would not be able to protect the escaped puppets from the Tiger Claw gang. Evelyn Parker, I heard someone sent Evelyn to you. Yi Fei obviously saw that Brother Finger's pupils shrank obviously when he said Evelyn's name. You two, please come to my office and have a chat. After Brother Finger finished speaking, he walked into the office. Yi Fei and Judy also walked in. There are a lot of girls who come to my place. There are a lot of them. I can tell you this. You go outside and ask around. What I provide here is the first-class customized service. Brother Finger walked and talked, but Yi Fei didn't bother to listen to him talking. Forrest, if you don't know his real name, what about the wooden man? Yi Fei obviously saw that Brother Finger's hand paused. Unfamiliar. Brother Finger replied in the affirmative. And guess who told me that Evelyn Parker was with you? Yi Fei looked at Brother Finger with a half smile and said. Have you seen the wooden man? Well, we've talked to him, and if everything goes well, he should be able to drink coffee with God, oh no, Satan. What Yi Fei said made Brother Finger silent for a while. Well, they did send Evelyn Parker to us, but I couldn't fix her broken implant, so the wooden man didn't give me any money, so they gave me her as a reward. After Brother Finger finished speaking, Judy next to him couldn't bear it anymore. Shut up, I can't hear it anymore. She's still breathing. Actually, strictly speaking, it's half alive. Brother Finger shook his head and said, poor girl, I really want to help her, really, but you should be able to see that the facilities are not ideal. So, where did you send her? Yi Fei asked. I really don't know where she is now. Brother Finger's eyes flickered. You shit. Tell Xiao Ai's whereabouts quickly, you pervert. Judy pointed at Brother Finger and cursed. Okay, what a hot little wild cat. Brother Finger waved his hand and said, let me ask you one last time, Evelyn Parker, where are you? Yi Fei has also lost his patience. Well, I couldn't fix her, and then I spliced her up, and then I contacted my middleman and sent her away, like they said they were going to take her to shoot some hawkmoths. Brother Finger saw that Yi Fei was already angry, so he could only tell the truth. It's because of people like you that Night City is what it is now. Judy went up and gave Brother Finger a slap, and it could be seen that Judy was already doing his best to slap him. Judy, you go outside to calm down first, and I'll talk to him later. It is good. Judy couldn't help crying now, and walked out quickly after hearing Yi Fei's words. So what else do you have? I really don't know anything. The flickering eyes of Brother Finger are obviously lying. The wooden man sold Evelyn to you, and after you got tired of playing, you contacted Okada and Ukiko and sold her as a commodity, right? As for Hikeomong, fried skeleton moth, I remember that they should be selling goods in the underground passage of Twist Street, right? Brother Finger was dumbfounded. He had no idea that Yi Fei knew more than him, as if he was watching him do it. Now, he has no value at all to Yifei, and I'm afraid that he will have to confess his life here. No, no, don't kill me, I still have 2 prosthetic bodies of the 5th level immune system, as long as you promise not to kill me, I will give it to you. Brother Finger hurriedly took out a box from under his mattress. This was really playing cards indiscriminately, without even thinking about whether Yifei would agree to let him go. After opening it, Yifei took a look, and found that there were indeed 2 5th-order legendary prosthetic bodies inside. Okay, I'll take it. Yifei turned around and left with the box. When Brother Finger saw Yifei walk out of the office, he immediately collapsed on the chair. At this moment, Yifei's eyes were glowing red. Judy, are you okay? Seeing Judy crying on the stairs, Yifei walked to her side and comforted her. Xiao Ai was sold by that scumbag to the person who filmed He Cheomeng. Judy gritted his teeth and said, I'm going to kill him. Just when Judy said this, Brother Finger watched the fire and rushed out of the operating room, startling the puppets outside. In the last few seconds, Brother Finger fell to the ground and died. Did this? You do it. Judy turned to look at Yifei. It has nothing to do with me. He should have caught fire by himself. Poor guy, is the prosthetic body you gave me an A-grade product? Yifei shook his head, but judging from the calm expression on his face, it didn't look like it had nothing to do with him. But, where can I find Evelyn? Night City is so big, there are too many people filming Black Super Dream. Judy scratched her hair and said in despair, I just asked about Evelyn's whereabouts, and I will go with you to rescue Evelyn. Yifei said, really? That's great. Yifei, on behalf of Evelyn, thank you. After Judy heard Yifei's words, hope was rekindled. Yifei, I'll give you the reward for finding out about Evelyn's whereabouts. You must help me rescue Xiao Ai, please. As soon as Zudi said that, she called Yifei the money this time. Yifei wanted to refuse, but seeing Judy's expression, she knew that it was useless to refuse. Judy gave 20,000 yuan at once, and she didn't know how many super dreams she had to edit to earn this money. Jack, David, I'll give you the money right now. Yifei transferred 5,000 euros to Jack and David each. Although they were only playing support this time, except for Yifei who killed the tiger claws at the upper level of Yunding, Jack and David basically killed the lower levels. David, Jack, I'll just help Judy find someone for the rest, you guys go back first. Although David and Jack didn't know why Yifei did this, they left without any opinion. Judy, find someone because I asked David and Jack for help, so I asked you for a reward, but I will help you save Evelyn later on because you are my friend. Yifei had a serious expression on his face. You don't need to pay me in the future. In the worst case, I can ask you to help me in the future. There is no need to talk so much between friends. Yifei's words touched Judy a little. Don't you need to talk so much between friends? Judy wiped away the tears from her eyes, then nodded firmly. Night City is still lively at night. The number of vehicles on the street is about the same as the number of cars during the day. It's just that most of the people who go out at night are gang members and mercenaries. Those who came out during the day were ordinary people with no gang background. After leaving Brother Ren's clinic, Yifei took Judy to the location where Heikeomong was filmed. After Yifei and Judy sneaked into the factory, Judy found a computer and said to Yifei, now I will hack into their system and check their monitoring. It's not that troublesome. After Yifei easily hacked into their system, all the monitoring in the factory was tuned to the screen. Zhu Di looked at Yifei in shock. Yifei didn't even connect to the computer, just hacked into the factory's system and switched out all the monitoring. It's nothing, just learn from Lucy. Yifei waved his hand and said. Although I saw Yifei hacking into the system in Cheomong, this kind of effort to hack the system directly with just one word is still very shocking. You guys have so many secrets. I'll talk to you slowly after Evelyn is rescued. In this way, Yifei easily dealt with all the scavengers that appeared. These guys Yifei will not be merciless in killing, they are a bunch of scum anyway. In the end, Yifei and Judy reached the bottom floor of the factory and saw Evelyn lying beside the bed. I saw that her body was covered with bruises and scars, and there were many scars on her face. It seemed that she had suffered very painful abuse and torture. Xiao Ai. When seeing Evelyn, Judy ran directly to Evelyn's side and slowly helped her up. It's a pity that Evelyn didn't react at all. If it wasn't for his heart still beating, it would be impossible to tell that she was a living person. Judy, take Evelyn back to your apartment first, it's not safe here. Quote. Hearing what Yi Fei said, Zhu Di quickly nodded in agreement. After all, this is the territory of the scavenger. It took them less than half an hour to drive from the factory to Judy's apartment. Yi Fei took Evelyn to Judy's bedroom as Judy said. Gently closing the bedroom door, Judy turned around angrily. Wooden man. I must kill him. He's dead. Don't worry, Judy, he didn't die easily. As Yi Fei said, he sent Zhu Di the tragedy of the wooden man before his death. After seeing the photo, Judy's anger began to slowly dissipate. Yi Fei, it's getting late today, why don't you just make do with the night on my sofa? Okay, it just so happens that Afuguo has something to do and I'll see if I can help you. Yi Fei also agreed when she heard Judy's words. Early the next morning. What? Evelyn's terrified screams came from Judy's room. Yi Fei stood up from the sofa and rushed to Judy's room. I saw Evelyn curled up on the bed, while Judy sat beside her to comfort her. Xiao Ai, you are fine now, we rescued you. Looking at Evelyn's appearance, Judy felt extremely distressed, and could only comfort her by gently patting Evelyn's back with her hand. Yi Fei shook her head. Although Evelyn's behavior chip was broken, she could clearly perceive anything the outside world did to her. Will still remember clearly, every word and every sadistic action of those people will constantly reappear in her mind. Evelyn can't speak and can only shout now, and she can't do complicated movements, and she can't even take care of her own life. No wonder Evelyn chose to commit suicide in the end. How could an arrogant person tolerate her becoming what she is now? Judy, you should take Evelyn to see a prosthetic doctor now. Yi Fei said, and Evelyn visibly trembled when she heard the words prosthetic doctor, and then grabbed Judy's wrist. Obviously don't want to go. Yi Fei, I'm afraid it's not okay for Xiao Ai to behave like this now. In this way, after 2 days, when she feels better, I'm asking you to take her to see a prosthetic doctor, okay? Said Judy. I think if you're letting her go like this, I'm afraid she'll. Yi Fei didn't continue to speak, but made a movement with his hands on his neck. Yi Fei, I know you are doing it for Evelyn's sake, but Evelyn's current state is really not good. Judy looked at Evelyn, who was curled up motionless on the bed, gritted her teeth and said. Hey, well, call me if you have any situation, don't go to Liz for a few days, stay here with Evelyn, I'm leaving first. Hearing this, Yi Fei had no choice but to persuade Judy to no avail, so he left after giving Judy a piece of advice. Ding. When Yi Fei walked out of the apartment, a call came in with no caller ID. Who are you? How did you know my phone number? Yi Fei looked at a woman who looked only 30 years old on the other end of the phone and asked. I'm the American director of Kangtao Company, and my name is Ling Xiaohan. Mr. Yi must have heard of me. Ling Xiaohan said with a smile. It turned out to be Ms. Ling. May I ask what you need to ask me? Especially in this sensitive period. Mr. Yi was joking. We have heard Mr. Yi's name and know that you are a mercenary who thinks you are capable. I have a commission and I want to ask Mr. Ji Yu to solve it. Ling Xiaohan said. Consignment. I remember that Kongdao should also have armed operatives stationed in Night City, why do you still need me to help you complete the commission? Yi Fei became interested at this time. Kongdao basically had no sense of presence in the game. The most common appearances were weapons and blowing up Kongdao's signal tower in order to catch Herman. Our security personnel are all responsible for protecting the company's safety, not the local police force. There are no special circumstances, and our people stay in the company honestly. 1. Ling Xiaohan's words are a bit delicate, because everyone knows that the headquarters of the 3 major companies in Night City have a large number of armed personnel. This tells Ling Xiaohan that all of them have become harmless security guards for humans and animals. Ms. Ling, I think you should get straight to the point and say the commission, you don't need to be so polite with me. Yi Fei is too lazy to argue with Ling Xiaohan, he is not interested in chatting. A convoy of our company was hijacked in the Haywood area yesterday. We couldn't sell it due to some special reasons, but there is a blueprint of our weapons in the convoy. We need you, Mr. Yi, to get it back. The payment can be negotiated. Ling Xiaohan said. Weapon blueprint. That's right, it's a very important weapon blueprint. Time is running out. We have received news that this group of robbers will trade with Wangban people tonight, so we need Mr. Yi to get back the blueprint as soon as possible. We will send one of the finished weapons of this blueprint to Mr. Yi, plus an independent villa in the North Oak area. Ling Xiaohan said calmly. Okay, I'll take over this task. Then we'll wait for good news from Mr. Yi. Hearing Yi Fei's affirmative answer, Ling Xiaohan also said with a smile. Then hung up the phone. At this time, a young girl was sitting opposite Ling Xiaohan. Ling Aunt, can we really trust a mercenary? Can't we send our Qianlong team to get back that blueprint? Xu Xinyue said with some doubts. Xinyue, it's normal for you to be unclear about some things, but I need you to connect with Yi Fei. Remember, don't try to test Yi Fei's skills. Ling Xiaohan said with a solemn face, this is the first contact between Kong Dao and Yi Fei. Even if they don't get the favor of the other party, they must try to make the other party not hate them. Only in this way can I have the opportunity to cooperate with Yi Fei. Pie in the sky, Kangtao Company, why haven't I heard of this company? Johnny recalled and confirmed that there was no news about Kong Dao. Nonsense, the company was established in 2050. At that time, the grass on your grave was 3 meters high. If you know it, there will be ghosts. Yi Fei gave Johnny a white look. HMPH, whatever you want, anyway, I don't think the company has a good thing. After hearing what Yi Fei said, Johnny felt a little bored and disappeared. Yinglong rifle, interesting. Yi Fei felt a little greedy when he thought of this rifle. Compared with Yinglong, the military-grade G58 in his hand was like a heaven and a world. Yinglong's rate of fire is not only extremely fast, but also has all kinds of terrifying additional damage. For example, it can make the enemy bleed, catch fire, poison, electric shock and other effects, as well as additional electronic pulse damage. To be honest, Kong Dao's smart weapons are really perfect. Even his deadly rival Arbin needs to import smart weapons and smart robots from Kong Dao. From this point, we can see how intelligent Kong Dao is. However, judging from the information of the previous life, Kong Dao's tail is not clean, but I don't know how Kong Dao is in this world. Soon, Yi Fei received the address from Ling Xiaohan. Yi Fei doesn't intend to ask others to help with this matter, anyway, he can solve it by himself. Within a few minutes, Yi Fei arrived at the address given by Ling Xiaohan. Not intending to get entangled with these guys, Yi Fei didn't even pull out his gun, just teleported infinitely and broke everyone's necks. Finally, Yi Fei found the drawing of Yinglong from a guy with big muscles all over his body. Ding! Hey, Mr. Yi, what's the matter with you calling? Ling Xiaohan saw that only 10 minutes later, Yi Fei called again. It seemed that they had encountered a little trouble and needed their help. At least that's how it seemed to her. It's nothing, it's just that I've already got your drawings, let your connectors come and get them. Yi Fei shook the blueprint for making Yinglong in his hand and said. What, already got it? Ling Xiaohan was frightened. She was informed by an informant that Yi Fei had just appeared on the site of the Mox gang. In less than 10 minutes, Yi Fei took care of the elite group of Animal Gang and got the design drawings. Well, I happened to be shopping around here, and I killed them all by the way. A group of animal gangs robbed your convoy, right? Yi Fei's words made Ling Xiaohan a little messy. It was indeed a group of animal gang guys who robbed them, but all of those guys were powerful transformation bodies. Even if their security personnel go to solve it, it is unlikely that the battle can be resolved so quickly. After all, the guys who picked up the animal gang kept stuffing some prosthetic bodies with extremely high defense power into their bodies, and it was difficult to kill them with ordinary guns. In fact, this is also the reason why Yi Fei didn't bother to hit them with his own gun but broke their necks. Okay, Mr. Yi, I will ask our contact person to connect with you now. Ma Qian's Ling Xiaohan finished speaking and Yi Fei hung up the phone. After finding a stool and waiting for about 20 minutes, a young girl walked into the pool with several armed men. You are Kong Dao's connector. Here are the blueprints you want, where are the smart rifles you promised me and where are the rewards? Yi Fei glanced at the girl in front of her who had basically no signs of transformation. She was very beautiful, but she always had that haughty expression on her face. This made Yi Fei feel a little uncomfortable, but maybe he just has this capital. Yi Fei didn't bother to care. Your rifle, I have also sent you your reward. Xu Xinyue showed Yifei some rifles packed in boxes, and then Yifei saw an income of 50,000 euros. Tisk tisk tisk, as expected of Kong Dao, he is rich and powerful. Yifei flattered her a bit, and then reached out to pick up the box containing Yinglong in front of her. Wait, I heard that Mr. Yi is also a very powerful mercenary in Night City, and he hasn't installed any prosthetic body yet. I'm curious where your strength comes from. Xu Xinyue said straight to the point. Xinyue, this is not our plan. Ling Xiaohan roared in their Kong Dao's communication channel. Xu Xinyue's self-assessment broke their plan of contacting Kong Dao and Yifei. At this stage, she directly punctures the purpose, which is not conducive to Yifei's falling to their Kong Dao. Yifei looked at Xu Xinyue with interest, and retracted her hand again, and then Xu Xinyue only felt a gust of wind around her, and then she saw the blueprint of Yinglong appearing in Yifei's hand again. I think you, Kong Dao, are very dishonest, so I'm going to sell it for a price. That's it. Next time, send a polite person over to talk to me. After Yifei finished speaking, he disappeared in front of their eyes, and the box containing Yinglong's smart rifle was also taken away by Yifei. But this time, the instigator, Xu Xinyue, the granddaughter of Kong Dao's president Xu Shiming, is still in a daze. Xu Xinyue, report to the head office immediately. Ling Xiaohan had a rare gaffe, and this incident was related to Kong Dao's future direction. Originally, she wanted Xu Xin to hang out with Yifei in order to complete Xu Shiming in her plan. As a result, Xu Xinyue went up and directly asked Yifei where did her power come from. This is Night City. Don't say no more, even if there is someone, why should they tell you? Fiddling with Yinglong just taken out of the box, Yifei is debugging this smart rifle. Although the locking program inside is very good, it is still far from the program developed by Yifei himself. Generally speaking, these top-level smart rifles can quickly lock any enemies with exposed limbs, but they will only hit the exposed parts. The program designed by Yifei will allow Yinglong to connect to Yifei wirelessly, and then determine the position of the enemy's head through scanning. That is to say, the bullets fired by the program designed by Yifei. Head only. Yifei, when you ranted against that company chick just now, it was the best time since I lived in your mind. Johnny was originally displeased with these startup companies. Anyway, old companies such as wasteboards and military technology are all like B. Although he doesn't know the new Kong Dao, he saw Xu Xin and the arrogant he looked unhappy. Johnny, are you interested in walking on your own? Yifei said something at this time. Huh, can you do it? Johnny was taken aback when he heard Yifei's words, and then asked suspiciously. It's just a trivial matter, but the project will be affected by some. Yifei shook his head. He thought about this matter for a long time, and finally decided to build a container that can hold the subconscious body. But before that, I still need to buy a villa. Although Yifei's family is still big enough to live in, but it's still not enough. How many people will there be in the family in the future? Ding. Call reminder. Ling Xiaohan. Ms. Ling Xiaohan, what can I do for you? Yifei said with a grim face when he saw the caller. I'm very sorry, Mr. Yi, the person we sent out to meet you just now is a new employee of our company, so please don't suggest anything that offended me just now. Ling Xiaohan said apologetically. Not far in front of her, Xu Xinyue was being scolded bloody by Xu Shiming who came in through the line. I think you, Kong Dao, have no sincerity to find a new employee to perfuse me. Anyway, if you want Zhang Yinglong's drawings, find someone who is a little more polite. Yifei was very angry, but this was all pretended by Yifei in order to get better. Yes, it was our negligence this time. Mr. Yi, your salary will not change. The villa in the North Oak district is still yours. Please ask Mr. Yi to keep the drawings of Yinglong for us for a while. Ling Xiaohan was not angry because of Yifei's words, on the contrary, he felt a little lucky. After all, it was indeed their responsibility this time. Yifei is still willing to talk to her now, so there is still room for maneuver. As for the economic loss, it is just a drop in the bucket for Kong Dao. New bio key card detected. After Ling Xiaohan finished speaking, BCFE Yifei received a biological decryption key. By the way, I heard that your company's robot production technology is the top in the world. I need a customized robot that doesn't need any programs inside. I just want a shell, and of course I can pay for it. Yes, but talking about money will hurt your feelings, Mr. Yi. We will send you a robot. You just need to tell us your needs, and we will send it to you tomorrow. Although Ling Xiaohan didn't know what Yi Fei wanted the robot to do, he still agreed. Okay, then I'll hang up, there's still something to do here. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he hung up the phone directly. Even the person in charge of Kongdao's Americas called him twice. It seems that he knew that his body was different from ordinary people. But what if you know? Yi Fei has now awakened the biological standpoint. As long as he is unwilling, the body fluids flowing out of his body and the internal gene sequences will all be disrupted, so there is no need to be afraid of being studied or anything. Yi Fei, who was in a good mood, drove his sword in the stone back to the apartment in the valley area. After entering the door, Yi Fei only saw Lucy lying on the sofa. What are you doing, Lucy? Yi Fei walked to Lucy's side and asked. Nothing, just watch TV shows or something. Lucy was a little listless. In fact, she didn't know what to do. Recently, Yi Fei always ran out, and she didn't ask her to pick it up. And V said that he went to refit his old car, and he left early and returned late these 2 days. It only costs 250,000 euros to land on the moon. What are you waiting for? Let's take a space trip. The program on TV paused in time for a commercial to go to the moon. How about I take you to the moon? Yi Fei hugged Lucy into his arms and said. I don't have that strong desire to go to the moon now, and now I know that what I want is not to go to the moon. Lucy fell into Yi Fei's arms and looked at Yi Fei and said, her eyes were full of tenderness. In fact, Lucy has been thinking these days, do I want to go to the moon or what? After all, she has the money to go to the moon after she got the ticket for the Cyanbai building, but this money is far from enough to settle on the moon. Ever since she met Yi Fei and told Yi Fei about her dream, Lucy felt that she no longer had such a big obsession with living on the moon. So she is also thinking about what she wants. Then what do you want? Yi Fei looked at Lucy dotingly and said. New life. Lucy looked at Yi Fei firmly and said, I want to have your new life in the future. Aren't I always by your side? Yi Fei said. I didn't mean that, I just. Lucy said that she didn't want to talk anymore, and pushed Yi Fei onto the sofa. That's all I want. After Lucy finished speaking, the princess was picked up by Yi Fei and the two looked at each other. Yi Fei. Lucy was stunned at this time, and her petite and delicate face was immediately stained with red, looking very attractive. Immediately, he struggled shyly, trying to break free. You started the fire, Lucy, and you were responsible. Yi Fei kissed Lucy deeply as she spoke, and Lucy was very cooperative. V in some auto repair shop. MD, I told you to get red spray paint. What are you doing with neon green? Believe it or not, I demolished your factory. V looked at the car that had been sprayed a little green, and cursed angrily. This thing is not easy to clean. Night. Call. Lucy was lying on the bed, holding Yi Fei with a happy face, and Yi Fei also held Lucy in his arms. Why did you suddenly think of doing this? Yi Fei stroked Lucy's face and said gently. I just want to get closer to you. Now Lucy is like a child hugging her favorite toy, hugging Yi Fei tightly, for fear that someone will snatch him away in the next second. Now, do you think we're getting closer? Yi Fei said with a smile. Snapped. Lucy punched Yi Fei in the chest, viciously. Why didn't she know Yi Fei was so bad before? Isn't this asking knowingly? Ha ha ha, okay, I won't tease you anymore. V should be back soon, I happen to be hungry too, I'll cook, you have a good rest. Why? Seeing Lucy's appearance, Yi Fei smiled and said. I want to chat with you again. How about we go to some noodle shop for noodles when V comes? Lucy said while hugging Yi Fei's waist and leaning on his chest. Do you remember the first time we met? Lucy said. Remember, when we were doing our first shipment on light rail, you were still stealing chips from those company dogs. Yi Fei said jokingly. Actually, at that time, I was stealing chips aimlessly, because I didn't know anyone, so even if the chips were sold, I couldn't buy much. At that time, because I was thinking about these things and stealing chips, the cybermaniac shot me. Thinking of this, Lucy was still a little scared, and then she took another look at Yi Fei and said, but you showed up at that time and saved my life. At that time, I was still a little surprised. Why would there be someone in Night City desperately saving people in front of cyber lunatics? I'm just doing what I can. Yi Fei shook his head and said. With so many people, you chose to help me. Lucy just looked at Yi Fei directly. Well, you're pretty, so I saved you first. Yi Fei said it very frankly. Is there any problem with men liking beautiful women? HMPH, you're honest. Hearing Yi Fei's answer, Lucy also said with a smile. Regarding her appearance, Lucy is quite confident, not narcissistic, and the only women who can compare with her in Night City are those women Yi Fei can admire. But I like you more now. Yi Fei looked at Lucy sincerely at this time and said. HMPH, do you like too many women? Judy, V, and the little girl Rebecca in Man's team. Ahaha, isn't this too popular? Hearing what Lucy said, Yi Fei could only explain with a guilty conscience. However, this explanation is very weak no matter how you look at it. Oh, it's my bad luck. Anyway, you can't abandon me in the future, because I really won't be able to live like that. Lucy said that she had imagined that scene here, and tears welled up in her eyes. Seeing Lucy's appearance, Yi Fei's heart ached to death. I was afraid of making Lucy unhappy. How could I be willing to abandon Lucy? What are you talking about? How could I give up on you? Yi Fei said with a wry smile. No wonder netizens have said in previous lives that when a woman loses something important, she will easily worry about gains and losses, and her heart will become very sensitive. I thought girls in the cyberpunk world would be different, but I didn't expect Lucy to be the same. After the two of them warmed up again, they packed up their clothes and got up. After stuffing the sheets and quilt into the washing machine, Yi Fei started cooking. Lucy was sitting at the table with a direct view of the dining room, smiling at Yi Fei who was busy in the kitchen. Yi Fei, are you back? Did you go to help Judy yesterday? V also returned to the apartment at this time, saw Yi Fei who was cooking in the kitchen and asked. Well, everything is fine, and Evelyn was also rescued, but I don't know if she can pass the test in her heart. Yi Fei turned to V and said. Hey, these guys, it's too cheap to kill them directly. V also contacted Judy. After all, they both knew each other, but V didn't know Evelyn. She also knew that Yi Fei was staying overnight at Judy's house, but she wasn't worried either. After all, Judy is a lesbian and doesn't like men. It's just that V still forgot one thing: people can change. And when Yi Fei heard V say that it was too easy for them to kill them directly, he remembered the tragedy of the wooden man and brother Finger before they died. Well, it's really easy for this group of scumbags to die. Don't talk about that, Yi Fei. I saw a sports car downstairs. Is it yours? V asked. Yes, that's the car I got back from the Badlands earlier. Yi Fei nodded. How do you want to use it? Yi Fei thought it was V who wanted to drive the sports car. Forget it, I still like the Mizutani Hayabusa and our original car. V shook her head. She is not very interested in sports cars. Mizutani Hayabusa and her Viper suit her aesthetics. Speaking of cars, I think Lucy didn't seem to have a car. Why don't you buy her one? Hearing V's words, Yi Fei glanced at Lucy, and he also wanted to give Lucy a gift. After all, he just got a blood. I don't really like driving, but as long as you choose Yi Fei, I like it. Lucy is quite indifferent to cars, but if Yi Fei wants to buy one, Lucy will happily accept it. Yi Fei thought for a while, and suddenly remembered a car that should be suitable for Lucy. I think I know which car to get you. Yi Fei laughed. Noon the next day. V actually, I took on a small job yesterday. V was eating and eating. When he heard Yi Fei's words, he ate the noodles in his mouth and asked, what commission? Kong Dao's. I went to the stronghold of the animal gang to get some things. Yi Fei had a normal expression on his face, and what he said was as simple as going to a mall to buy a piece of clothing. Animal helper brother. I believe you ghost. Working in the company. That must make a lot of money. Well, a smart rifle, 50,000 euros, and a single family house in the North Oak area. Ahem. V was drinking water, and when he heard Yi Fei's reward, he was frightened by Yi Fei and choked on the water. You call this a small job? A commission that earned 30,000 euros in Night City was considered a big deal, and this time Yi Fei earned 50,000 euros plus a villa and a smart rifle. 60. You have to take over all the layers of the animal gang to make so much money, right? Just a blueprint, on which is a smart rifle that Kong Taowei has not released on the market, and its power is quite good. Yi Fei took out the drawing and showed it to Vi and Lucy. It's just that one of the two is a hacker, and the other is a combatant who can't understand what the blueprint is drawing. Only see the power notes above. I care, burning, electric shock, poisoning, bleeding. Are you sure this is a rifle and not an alien weapon? V glanced at it and said foul language immediately. The comment on this is indeed a bit outrageous. Even Lucy, who has always been rational, agrees with V's point of view. But this is Kong Dao's smart weapon manufacturing blueprint, so it probably won't be some fake comment. If only we could have a hand, V said with some envy. But this is just a fantasy. It is obviously impossible to make a Yinglong if you want to buy some components from the street like a game. Let's move to the villa in the North Oak area today. Yi Fei took a fancy to Lucy and V said. And V and Lucy looked at each other, and they both saw a trace of joy in each other's eyes. Although the living area here is enough, it is still too small for 3 people to live together. It is so small that if 2 people want to be alone with Yi Fei, they need to find a time when the other is not around. Okay, X2, Lucy and V said in unison. Because there are only some clothes here, and all the other furniture was given by them when they bought the house and moved in with their bags, so you only need to bring some clothes there. I'll take Lucy out to buy a car in a while. Do you want to come with me? Yi Fei asked V, who was packing his clothes. No need, I'm going to participate in a racing competition later. The bartender at the Afterlife bar was recommended by Claire. V shook her head. She went to refit and repair her car yesterday because she was going to participate in the competition. All right then, Lucy and I will go to your place to watch your race after buying the car. Hearing this, Yi Fei took Lucy out. Yi Fei, I actually don't need a car. Anyway, you and V have a car. Lucy said. This is true, except for night running and commissioning. Lucy basically does not go out, and usually stays at home to help Yi Fei write programs. That's right, Yi Fei made the source codes of some games that were popular in the previous life but not here in the cyberpunk world, and Lucy is responsible for helping Yi Fei develop and write programs. This is the first time your man has given you a gift, so don't refuse. Yi Fei put his arms around Lucy's waist and said with the air of a previous domineering president. Ding, Yi Fei, is there anything you can do with me, an old woman? I don't think I have any suitable commissions for you. Okada Wakako said. Hey, Wakako, I saw a car in the message you sent me. I think it's very suitable for me. I want to buy it. Oh, I didn't expect that there is a car you like in the car I'm selling. Okay, you want that car. The Sword of the Lagoon of Rayfield. Hearing Yi Fei say this name, Okada and Ukiko were a little surprised. Are all the mercenaries so rich now? It took her a lot of effort to get that top-notch sports car. It is limited to less than 100 cars in the world. In Night City, she only has one. Mr. Yi, I heard that you seem to have a sword in the stone. That car should not be worse than the Sword of the Lake Girl, right? Okada Wakako was in a bit of a dilemma. It wasn't that she refused to sell, but that she was one of the other bosses of the Tiger Claw gang. One of Xiaopu's lovers also wanted the car. Xiaopu Weixin just called her this morning and said he wanted to buy it. It's just that Xiaopu Weixin took advantage of his status as one of the bosses of the Tiger Claw gang to push down the price of the Sword of the Lake Girl to the 18th city. Just kidding, she and Gezi spent 180,000 yuan to get this car, not to mention bribing the officials at the port of Night City. The money spent is already a small 200,000 yuan, but Xiaopu Weixin is also one of the bosses of the Tiger Claw gang after all, so Okada Kazuko is not easy to refuse. After all, she was doing business on the territory of the Tiger Claw gang. What? I need to consider whether I have other cars when I buy a car. Yi Fei said with some dissatisfaction. No, even Xiaopu Weixin, one of the big brothers of the Tiger Claw gang, also wants to buy this car, but the price he gave is simply bullying me, an old woman. Having said this, Okada Wakako couldn't help wiping away tears that didn't exist. Yi Fei gave Okada and Kazuko a blank look. He was just afraid of revenge from the Tiger Claw gang. Now that he and the Tiger Claw gang have become life and death enemies, is he still afraid of this? I'll offer 220,000 yuan. You go and tell that old Xiaopu Weixin to come and get the car with me, Yi Fei, if he has the guts. Okay, since you are so sincere, Mr. Yi, I'll sell you the Lake Lady's sword. Okada Wakako's face instantly changed from cloudy to sunny, as if the crying look just now had never existed. Send me the address and key of the car. Without saying anything, Yi Fei directly transferred 220,000 euros to Okada Wakako. Then thank you Mr. Yi, I have already sent you the address and the secret key, I wish you and your girlfriend a good time. Tian and Yutiko hung up the phone after finishing speaking. It didn't take long for Yi Fei to follow the address and drove Lucy there in his sword in the stone. After arriving at the location, the two got out of the car, and Yi Fei saw a few Tiger Claw gang boys standing beside the Lake Lady's sword. Lucy, activate the sword of the Lady of the Lake. Yi Fei gave Lucy the car key when he was in the car just now. It is good. Lucy's eyes glowed blue, and then the sword of the Lake Lady started. Boss and the others haven't come yet. Why did the car start? A younger member of the Tiger Claw gang with tattoos all over his body looked at the activated Lake Girl sword with some doubts and said. They received a call from the boss, telling them to guard the car, and they will come and drive away at night. Chapter 101. Boss, there's a pretty chick over there. At this time, a younger brother of the Tiger Claw gang pointed to Lucy who was not far away and said that they didn't care about Yi Fei who was next to Lucy. Oh, let me see. The little leader of the Tiger Claw gang with tattoos all over his body was fascinated by Lucy at a glance. Hiss, it's really a good product. One of the businesses of their Tiger Claw gang is to kidnap good-looking women to train them as dolls, which is also the source of most of Genting's dolls. The training process must have been done by members of the Tiger Claw gang. Yi Fei saw one of the Tiger Claw gang members whispering to the big guy with tattoos all over his body, and saw their eyes fixed on Lucy reaching out his hand. Yi Fei narrowed his eyes all of a sudden. This group of Tiger Claw gang is really a dog who can't change eating shit. Hey, boy, is your girlfriend nice? Boom. A younger brother from the Tiger Claw gang couldn't hold back his impulse and walked in front of Yi Fei. As a result, before he could finish speaking, Yi Fei punched out fiercely. Half of this little brother's body disappeared immediately, and the huge blood mist directly covered the rest of the Tiger Claw gang's little brothers. What? And the leader of the Tiger Claw gang, who was still talking to that little brother, was not calm when he saw this scene. He didn't expect that this man, who seemed to be just a little bit strong, could kill one of his younger brothers in one fell swoop. Idiot. Then he directly raised his gun and shot at Yi Fei. It's just that when they were shooting, Yi Fei and Lucy suddenly disappeared in front of their eyes. Yi Fei, actually, I want to try the power of the single molecular line in my hand. This is what I asked Lao Wei to help me find 2 days ago. After being taken to a bunker by Yi Fei, Lucy pulled out 2 thin invisible single molecular wires from her hands. These are military-grade single molecular wires that Lucy asked Victor to help her find 2 days ago. With Yi Fei's eyesight, it can be seen that there are rows of small sawtooths on these invisible single molecular lines. No wonder the monomolecular thread can dismember people in the game, but I don't know what effect it will actually have. Okay, if you want to try it, go ahead and use it. After Yi Fei finished speaking, Lucy couldn't help but rushed out from behind the cover. At this, chick you can't run. Several members of the Tiger Claw gang shot at Lucy in unison, and Lucy's eyes were red. Soon, Lucy hacked into the programs of several Tiger Claw gang members, interfering with their circuit operation. The younger brothers of the Tiger Claw gang began to have electric currents. Seeing that the younger brothers of the Tiger Claw gang couldn't move, Lucy started to shake the monomolecular thread in her hand. The few people only saw Lucy waving her hands, and then saw their arms and legs separated from their bodies. When they were cut off, they were unconscious, but when they saw their hands and feet fell to the ground, they started to shout. The severe pain caused a lot of cold sweat to break out of their heads. The little leader of the Tiger Claw gang had a unit against the intrusion system, so he got rid of the situation of being limited by the current at the very moment, and at the same time avoided Lucy's single molecule wire. After rolling around, he raised the Ajax in his hand and was about to fire at Lucy. At this time, Yi Fei appeared beside him, and directly stuffed his fingers into the barrel of the gun. And the leader of the Tiger Claws had already pulled the trigger. Boom. I thought Yifei's hand would be smashed by his Ajax, but not only Yifei's hand was fine, but the gun also exploded. What? At the same time, one of the hands of the little leader of the Tiger Claw gang was blown up, and then he was the same as the younger brothers of the Tiger Claw gang whose hands and feet were cut off by Lucy with a monomolecular thread. He fell to the ground and howled in pain. Do you know who you have offended? We are members of the Tiger Claw gang. Let our boss know. Your men will be chopped into meat sauce and fed to the dogs. The women will be trained into puppets and put on the cloud top to make money. The little leader who fell to the ground also tried to use the prestige of the Tiger Claw gang to frighten Yifei and Lucy. Tiger Claws, huh? Yifei stepped on the hands and feet of the little boss as soon as he said a word. Kacha kacha. The little leader's feet were crushed from toes to thighs by Yifei, making a teeth-piercing sound. Ah! The little leader of the Tiger Claw gang didn't expect that Yifei would dare to treat him like this even after he reported himself to the family. Is this man a cybermaniac who is not afraid of revenge from the Tiger Claws? Go and tell your boss, my name is Yifei, I was the one who did the ticket to Genting last time, let him come to me if he has the guts, of course, in a few days I will also find trouble with your Tiger Claw gang. Yifei squatted beside the little boss and said with a smile. On Lucy's side, all the little brothers have been dealt with, and everyone has been cut into 8 sections. The one who whispered to the little leader of the Tiger Claw gang at first was cut into 16 sections by Lucy. For a while, blood was everywhere in the parking lot. We're keeping this guy. Lucy walked up to Yifei and asked. Well, in a few days, I guess I'm going to kill the Tiger Claw gang. I've been annoyed by this group of scumbags for a long time, so I'll leave this fool here to report to them. Yifei nodded as he acknowledged Lucy's thoughts. Let's drive away. I think V's side is about to start the race. My sword in the stone has Delaman's program installed, he can drive home by himself. It's my first time driving, so don't feel bad when I hit you. When Yifei heard Lucy's words, he took Lucy over and said with a smirk, every time you hit a car, I will punish you once. Anyone who hits you will have to pay me. How come you are so not serious now? Lucy rolled her eyes at Yifei, but still felt a little lingering fear at Yifei's abundant energy yesterday. Fortunately, V will help her share a little bit in the future, thinking that Lucy's face is a little red here. Yo, Yifei, what you drive is the sword of the lake lady. Claire was a little dazed when she saw a super sports car driving towards them. After all, they were just a small competition in their small circle. When seeing Yifei get off the car, Claire was also a little surprised. As a car fan, Claire recognizes the sword of the Lady of the Lake. This car was only released this year, and it is a top sports car limited to 100 units in the world. She also just saw it in the photo. Well, this car belongs to Lucy, and we're here to see V race. Yifei smiled and nodded. Then he also saw V's figure. V was standing next to Claire's car at this time, wearing a pure black leather racing suit, which outlined V's fiery figure. In addition, V's face is even more beautiful than that of a star, and many audiences at the scene focused their eyes on her. I don't care, Claire, where did you get this thing? Yifei is so stupid. He remembers that in the game, he just got into the car and drove it. How did he become so professional here? For racing, you must be more professional, Claire said with a smile. Yifei. After seeing Yifei standing beside Claire, V waved towards him. Come on, Yifei also encouraged with a smile. Okay, now it's time for me to get in the car and fight with V, you guys wait for us at the finish line. Claire said a word, and walked to the side of V's Mizutani Falcon. Hey, Claire, where did you find the new driver? It's a pity that he looks so beautiful, but it's just that sooner or later he will die sooner or later as a partner with you. Ha ha ha. Samson sneered at Claire when he saw her. Shut your stinky mouth. When Claire heard Samson's words, she immediately cursed at him in a rage. At the end of the day, Dean's husband was as bad as a driver, so arrogant that he got carried away and paid a terrible price. Samson didn't care about Claire's scolding, but taunted him even more vigorously. If you only know how to talk, go for it. We'll see the truth on the field. At this time, V walked to Claire's side and patted her on the shoulder, looked at Thompson coldly and said, Okay, since this beautiful lady has said so, then I will wait and see. Samson didn't look down on V, a racer who was temporarily pulled by Claire. After all, he had never heard of V in so many races in Night City. Sitting in the car, Claire's expression was still very bad. V was also a little puzzled seeing her like this. After all, Claire usually gave them a very calm image. He just became hysterical because of the trash talk of that racing driver, but it doesn't look like Claire's style. It's nothing, let's drive hard and kill that guy. V comforted Claire. After hearing what V said, Claire nodded and returned to her usual calm look. And V didn't ask any more questions, and directly activated his Mizutani Falcon. They have done a lot of modification on this car in the past 2 days, changing everything from the engine to the tires. Okay, all the drivers, please get ready. Crush all the steel and blow up all the opponent's dog heads. 3. Quote exclamation mark quote. Quote, exclamation mark quote. When the host counted to 1, V kicked the accelerator and rushed out. Because the position was at the back and the road was narrow, V and the others were initially suppressed behind. At this time, Thompson, who was at the front, stretched out a hand out of the car window and made a thumbs down motion to the car behind him. Everyone knows who this action is for. It's just that V was not angry, but calmly analyzed the situation on the field. Now I just need to keep up with the vehicle in front of me and not be thrown away. Yifei, can V win? Her position looks too bad. Lucy asked with some concern, and they drove the car and took a shortcut at this time and had already reached the end point. And on their channel, it can be seen that V is now at the rear of the convoy, but he has not been electrocuted. Don't worry, Lucy, you may not know how wild V was driving when he was in our family. She will enjoy this race after so many days. Yifei said very confidently that in his memory, when V drove him on the bad soil, he could move forward steadily when the speed was not high. Not to mention here, V in the car glanced at the map on the car, and found that there was a wide bend after 300 meters, and instantly had an idea in his mind. Samson's car is still ahead, worthy of being the last champion, and our V player is also biting Thompson's car tightly. The big bend is ahead, and Samson has already slowed down his speed. After all, he is not a lunatic. If he rolls over from here, he will directly hit the surrounding buildings. Just because he doesn't dare doesn't mean others don't dare. Seeing that Samson's speed slowed down, V drove the car to the other side of the road, and stepped on the accelerator hard. Boom! The engine in Mizutani Falcon roared and the speed exceeded 180 kilometers per hour. It passed Thompson's car easily and directly. Stupid chick. Samson almost burst out laughing when he saw this scene. After all, if he was not careful at this speed, he would roll over because he couldn't control it when turning. He, the previous champion, didn't dare to operate like this, and the rookie V is probably a lunatic who dared to do this. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Boom. The sound of Mizutani Falcon's tires rubbing against the ground and the sound of the engine roared, and bursts of white smoke came out from under Mizutani Falcon's wheels. Passing the curve smoothly, V directly stepped on the accelerator, and then directly activated the nitrogen acceleration device Claire installed on Mizutani Falcon. Boom! The exhaust pipe of Mizutani Falcon emitted a roar like an explosion, and the gap between Thompson and Thompson was instantly opened. When Samson saw this scene, he felt that he had completely lost track of him. The track behind is all straight lines, his car is known for its cornering, and the speed of Mizutani Hayabusa modified by Claire and V is simply not comparable. When the Mizutani Hayabusa driven by V crossed the finish line, all the people waiting at the finish line were excited. Quote. V and Claire, we're the winners of this contest. When the host announced the result, V and Claire were seen getting out of the car. Claire's expression was full of anger, without the joy of victory at all. Claire, I think we should talk again. V walked to Claire's side and said. You don't understand. That idiot. He killed my husband. I'm here for revenge, not to win this shit. Claire growled at V. What's wrong? Yifei took Lucy to the side of the two of them. It's nothing, V, you don't need to come to the next competition. I will find a new partner, and I will give you your reward. Seeing Yifei approaching, Claire gave up and continued to yell, but she didn't intend to give up revenge. After speaking, Claire left. V, Claire, what happened to her just now? Lucy asked with some doubts. After all, Claire usually speaks very gently. According to normal logic, he should be happier after winning the game. It's like this. V told Lucy all the conversations she had with Claire in the car. That means Samson killed Claire's husband. Lucy frowned after hearing what V said. The key is that everyone in this game defaults to the risk of death. V shook his head and expressed his thoughts a little depressed. To be honest, if you wanted to kill Samson just now, it would be very simple, just speed up and knock them over. At the speed of Samson and the others, as long as they are knocked over, they will die. The front bumper of V's Mizutani Falcon has been reinforced by Claire, so he is not afraid of impact at all. Forget it, let's go home today and talk about it later. Yifei walked up to V's side and patted her on the shoulder. Yifei knew that V just wanted to enjoy racing. After driving for about half an hour, Yifei and the others arrived at their villa in North Oak District. North Oaks is generally an area where wealthy people live. The environment here is beautiful, full of green plants, and even the air is much better than in Night City. This is indeed a place where the rich live, even the air is much cleaner than in Night City. Johnny stood in front of the door of the villa, looked around and said, "You are the home of Samurai Band, and you are the top mercenary in Night City. Didn't you have a villa in the rich area before?" Yifei is very interested in this question. "No, there are fans who want to give me this kind of villa, but I prefer the atmosphere in the city. Look around here, Yifei, don't you think it's too deserted?" Johnny pointed to the deserted surroundings and said. Lucis Sword of the Lake Lady and V's Mizutani Falcon slowly entered the villa. He gave Johnny a blank look. This guy likes to say some unpleasant things no matter where he is. After the camera at the gate of the villa scanned Yifei, the gate opened slowly. "Welcome home, Mr. Yi." The butler robot in the villa walked up to Yifei and the others, bowed and said. The furniture inside is all the latest models. The huge TV and sofa are located in the center of the living room. The floor-to-ceiling windows around the living room can clearly see the scene of outside, and the walls are covered with various murals. It can only be said that it is a villa given by Ling Xiaohan. Not only is the decoration luxurious, but the intelligent robots in it are also the latest models of Kangtao. Yifei walked up to V and Lucy, put his hands on their shoulders and said, "How is it? Do you like this new home?" V and Lucy had already started visiting the villa when they entered the villa, but Yifei had no interest in visiting. Within a few minutes, Lucy and V had finished visiting the entire villa. Several people also sat in the living room, and several bottles of expensive red wine in the wine cabinet were placed on the table. Celebrating moving into a new home, cheers. Yifei raised the red wine in his hand and said, "Yes, all three are like that." He didn't bother to sober up or not. The wine was just for drinking and then it was done. Just like that, the three of Yifei drank and chatted in the living room. At the end of the drink, only Yifei remained sober. Seeing Lucy and V who were already sound asleep, Yifei carried them into two different rooms. There was no reaction from Lucy. As long as she was drunk, she would usually fall into a deep sleep. But when she carried V into the room, she suddenly opened her eyes, saw Yifei in front of her, and hugged him directly. Looking at V's cheeks that have turned rosy from being drunk, and V's wearing a very slim racing uniform, seeing Yifei only feels dry mouth. V's eyes were blurred, and he held Yifei's cheek with both hands and kissed it. "Did you secretly do something with Lucy?" After a minute, V let go of Yifei, and said with a little displeasure on his face. Just as Yifei was about to explain, V put a finger on Yifei's lips and said, "I know what happened between you and Lucy. It's not like I didn't see what was in the washing machine this morning. Sheet. Just look at me now, okay?" Hearing this, Yifei couldn't bear it at all, and answered V's question with actions. Late at night, just like yesterday, Yifei felt a little unbelievable when he held V in his arms. He just took down both V and Lucy. "V, what were you thinking when you kissed me just now?" Yifei looked at V in his arms, who had a completely different style than usual and asked. "What can you think? Do you think I can't see that there was something wrong with Lucy and you last night?" As a woman, V can certainly see the difference in Lucy. Last night, she saw that Lucy looked at Yifei completely differently, usually with affectionate eyes. As a result, when she came home last night, she saw Lucy looking at Yifei with that kind of undisguised love. Combined with the sheets seen in the washing machine, V naturally thought that Yifei and Lucy had broken through that level of relationship. Then you are not afraid of my rejection? Yifei said that. Here V looked at him with some disdain, and then took another look at Yifei's dishonest hand. You said, according to the way I know you, you will let go. I just don't want to fall too far behind Lucy. V said that he was obviously a little unhappy here. Why do you say this? You and Lucy are equally important in my heart. Seeing V's expression of worrying about gain and loss, Yifei hugged V with some distress and said, just you glib. I asked you if you still have anyone out there. After hearing Yifei's words, V cheered up and asked again. This woman has changed too much, right? She was depressed just now, but now she cheers up and starts to torture him. Actually, it was all an accident. Yifei also didn't want to hide it from V. After all, this kind of thing would have to be faced sooner or later. Sasha was already his woman, so he couldn't let go. After hearing Sasha's story, V also began to feel sorry for Sasha. After all, both V and Yifei's parents died in the family mission when they were in their teens. But Sasha's mother could be cured, but she lost her life because of the black heart drug of biotechnology, and it took 10 years to get revenge. If it wasn't for the luck to meet Yifei to carry out the mission with her, she might also die in the hospital. Biotech's hands are gone. Are you sure it's the only one? V just looked at Yifei directly and said, maybe later. Speaking of this, Yifei feels guilty. He has monopolized 3 beauties by himself, but he still wants to accept other beauties. Hearing Yifei's words, V also hammered his chest. Compared with Lucy V, she understands how terrifying Yifei's current physical strength is. Even if she hammers with all her strength, it is impossible for Yifei to cough. So the extra force of the V hammer. Boom boom boom. V, if you keep hammering like this, I really can't stand it anymore. After being hammered for half a minute, although Yifei didn't feel any pain at all, he didn't want to be hammered like this until dawn. HMPH, who told you that you are not honest at all? V raised his face and looked at Yifei and said, but he is not angry now. Yifei still looked unscrupulous, turned over and pressed V under him again and said with a smile. Let me make it up to you. Screw you. Although V resisted, it was only a superficial act of resistance. The next morning. Ding. Caller ID. Fra Nong. Yifei glanced at Panin's phone and got up from the bed. Who called you so early in the morning? V was also woken up, opened his eyes in a daze and asked. The person who worked with me when I went to Badland last time called. It must be something urgent. You continue to rest, and I will pick it up. After Yifei finished speaking, he walked out of the room and connected the phone. Thank goodness, Yifei, I have an urgent matter that I may need your help with. Panin in the picture is a little irritable, and it can be seen that this matter should not be considered small. Possible. Okay, I really need your help. Let's meet and tell. I'll wait for you in the camp of the Adacardo family. Panin, I think you should calm down first. I'll go find you right now. Yifei looked at Panin, who was in a hurry on the phone, and said. It's so pleasing to hear, Yifei. Panin breathed a sigh of relief after hearing Yifei's words. Come here now if you can. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Yifei said. After hanging up the phone, Yifei returned to the room to pick up his clothes. Where are you going? V asked, lying on the bed. I'm going to the Badlands, maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Yifei put on his clothes and said. Are you going to work alone again? To be precise, it's to help. I'll talk to you later. After Yifei finished speaking, he turned and walked out of the villa, and flew directly to Adacado's camp. Within a few minutes, Yifei arrived at the Adacado family camp. Seeing Fra Nan leaning against the car, Yifei went up and patted her on the shoulder. Who? Yifei, why are you here so soon? Panin thought someone was trying to make fun of him, but when he turned around and saw Yifei's face, he said in surprise. It's not important, can you tell me what happened now? Why did you go back to Adacardo? Yifei looked at Panin with his chest folded and said. Well, I've been in the city for a while since what happened last time, but I don't feel like city life is for me, so I'm back in Adacardo. Panin said helplessly that the prosperity of Night City does not belong to her kind of people, and she still prefers life in Adacardo. Let's get down to business. Yi Fei, this time I fell in love with military technology, what should I say? Do you dare to do it with me? Military technology. I thought it was someone from your family who was kidnapped and asked me to help. Pan raised his eyebrows when he heard Yi Fei's words, and said with some doubts, how could people from our family be kidnapped? Forget it, you should come in with me, and we will discuss the specific actions inside. Then Pan took Yi Fei into the camp, and then had a series of discussion plans with Yi Fei. Pan, I said this and I will never agree. Do you have any backbone? I would rather be a company dog than fight for it. As long as we can snatch the monster lizard, we, Adecardo, won't be afraid of anyone here in the Badlands. But have you ever thought about whether military technology will come to us for revenge? What if they come to take revenge and cause heavy casualties to the family? Pan and Saul were arguing there, while Yi Fei stood aside and watched the scene. After a while, Saul and Pan broke up unhappy. A stubborn old man, just like a wooden fish head. Pan stood by the table and slapped the table fiercely and cursed. Saul is like this, is it the first day you know him? Standing beside Pan, Mitch said helplessly that he is an old man of the Adecardo family, and he knows why Saul does everything like this. It is not easy for the family to come to this day. To put it bluntly, if the company really targets them, their Adecardo family will easily disband and be swallowed up by other tribes like the Bar family before Yi Fei. Don't worry, Pan, I will help you to the end this time. Yi Fei patted Pan on the shoulder and said, thank you, Yi Fei. Saul doesn't understand at all. When Pan heard Yi Fei's words, most of the anger in his heart due to the quarrel with Saul disappeared. You don't need to care so much, V and I often do the same. Yi Fei said with a smile, and then went to the place where the Adecardo family ate to get food. Is it only human feelings? Pan looked at Yi Fei's back and thought of that morning again. After eating and drinking enough at noon, Yi Fei found the homeless people who wanted to participate in this operation. Most of these people are veterans of the war. Are there only a few of you going to take part in the action? Yi Fei said, you can't go to too many people at one time, or it will be difficult for Saul to know about this matter. Here are all people who voluntarily participated in this operation. Mitch explained. Furthermore, the armed force of the transport convoy this time is not that strong, and it is still fighting in the Jackson Plains where we are good at. We should be able to take it easily. Scorpion also echoed. Okay, since you have decided, let's go. Yi Fei nodded and said. Several people made a total calculation, and set off after sorting out their equipment. Yi Fei still sat in Pan's Ting Wei, but Pan did not chat with Yi Fei this time. Pan, what will you do if Thor still insists on reaching a cooperation with biotech after you take down the monster lizard? Yi Fei felt that it was too boring to not talk in the car, so he took the initiative to chat. After we took down the demon lizard, Adecardo is basically an invincible tribe in the Badlands. If Thor still thinks that way after we take down the demon lizard, I can only leave the family completely up. Pan replied, you can do whatever you want. If you really break away from the family, you can come to Night City to find me. Not to mention making you live a rich life, I can still do it. Can I take this as you trying to kill me? I also have a mercenary team, okay, but I and you are doing private work so it's not good to ask them to help. Another few minutes of silence. Yi Fei, the V you just said is yours. Pan still couldn't help asking. V, she took good care of me when I was in the tribe, and now she has become my woman in Night City. That's right. Hearing that Yi Fei already had a woman, Pan's eyes dimmed. But I have two more, one named Lucy and one named Sasha. Question mark question mark question mark. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Pan raised his head and looked at Yi Fei in shock. Didn't you say that V is your woman? Ah, this is a long story, let me explain to you slowly. In this way, Yi Fei told Pan the story of Lucy and Sasha. After hearing Yi Fei's words, Pan looked at Yi Fei with a strange look in his eyes. You are honest, you told me everything. That's the truth, I don't like lying. Yi Fei shrugged and said, aren't you afraid that I'll be even angrier after hearing your story, call you a scumbag, and throw you here like this? I don't like lying to you much more than that. Actually, I didn't get angry when I heard you say that you have other women. This world has become like this. What morality do you need? You are a nice person, and I like it very much. After Panin finished speaking, he didn't talk to Yifei again. I'm stupid, you're so awesome, if I replaced you, you wouldn't dare to say it so frankly, and I think this girl is already very interesting to you. Johnny appeared in the back row of the car, gave Yifei a thumbs up and said. Although he has the experience of stepping on 4 boats, he doesn't dare to act directly and frankly like Yifei. Rog broke up with him when he knew he was on 4 boats, and the other 2 girlfriends also left him, leaving only one Aunt still by his side. Just like that, he was kidnapped by Wangban. What do you know, it's feeling confident about your own charm. Yifei said very stinkingly. You fool, if you show me, you won't really fly. Johnny pointed a middle finger at Yifei and said. It was already evening when we drove all the way from the Adicado family camp to highway. Arriving at the train station, it can be seen that the facilities here have been abandoned for a long time. Both the signal tower and the train below are rusty and look like they will collapse at any time. Panin walked to the gate of the signal tower, and Yifei also walked to her side and asked, Do you need my help? Can you do it? When Panin heard Yifei's words, he glanced at him and asked. My technique is okay. Yifei took the equipment in Panin's hand, fiddled with the door of the signal tower a few times and opened it. I'm sorry, Yifei, you're really good. Panin patted Yifei on the shoulder and said. Do you want to show your abilities in front of girls? Johnny appeared next to him again and said. You seem to be very active today. Fortunately, the main reason is that I think this girl is nice, better than the girl you helped 2 days ago. Johnny still has a good impression of Panin, a woman who always does things by herself first and does not easily ask others for help. Only those who have no skills would find it troublesome. After giving Johnny a blank look, Yifei followed Panin up the signal tower. When the 2 walked into the signal tower, all they saw were documents scattered all over the place. It seemed that the people here hadn't sorted out their things when they evacuated. Panin looked at the sun that was only half left hanging in the sky in the distance and said. Yifei, actually I have something to tell you. I can see that you are happier here. Although you will have quarrels with people in the family. Yifei said teasingly. Don't tease me, I let my family risk their lives. If the action is successful, I may be scolded by Saul. I may be kicked out of the family after I finish this matter. What do you say? Do I look happy? Panin said helplessly. You are already trembling in your heart, but you still dare to come here, isn't it because you think what you are doing is right? Hearing Yifei's words, Panin glanced at him and said with a wry smile, Oh, even you can tell that I'm really scared to death. Can you tell me about your story in the Buckle family? I'm quite curious. I'm in the Buckle family. Actually, it's nothing too much. When I was young, my parents joined the Buckle family, and then they died in a certain mission. I and V lived together in the Buckle family. After the family disbanded, we went to Night City to work as mercenaries. Yifei said, Can you tell me about V? I kind of want to know her. V, it's fun to say. She is also a grumpy person like you but actually very gentle. She will support me in whatever I do. That's great, it seems that V occupies a lot of place in your heart. Panin said with some envy. I'm different from you, I've asked Rog about it, and you only pick up V in Night City. You don't need some big jobs, money and fame, and someone around you who is willing to support you. From the last time I solved the group of Chaos Swordsmen, I can see that your ability is not ordinary, and I am just a person who wants to leave the family in words, but in fact, if I can't get along in the city, I will come back in despair. It's just people. The more I know, the more I can feel the gap between you and me. Panin spoke out all at once, because Panin had a lot of affection for Yifei last time. Parnam, have you found the punch card? Carol shouted to the 2 people in the watchtower from below. Let's find it now. After hearing Carol's words, Panin also stopped feeling emotional, and this is not the right time to talk about these things. Yifei quickly found the punched cards from a pile of documents scattered on the floor. Found the card, Panam. After speaking, Yifei inserted the card into the card reader, and then pushed the armrest beside it. After doing all this, the rusty train slowly drove out of the station. Success. Yifei. Panin hugged Yifei excitedly and said. She was also a little scared. If the train was completely immobile, it would be basically impossible for them to complete this operation. Fortunately, the train is still running normally. We haven't finished the task yet, Panin, it's not too late to celebrate when we get it done. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Panin realized that he was holding him now, and immediately let go of his hands and stood on the other side. Let's go down, don't let them misunderstand anything. Seeing Panin, who hurriedly ran downstairs, Yi Fei smiled faintly. Coming down from the signal tower, Mitch and the others had already lit the bonfire. Several people were chatting by the bonfire, and some people took out their guitars and played there. You two came down so slowly, I thought you were shooting guns in the tower. Mitch said with a smile. SB, Mitch, if you do this again, I promise I will use my watch to give you a good shot. After giving Mitch a middle finger, Panin and Yi Fei found a place to sit down. Do you want to come a little? A homeless man handed Yi Fei the jug, and Yi Fei took it only to find that it contained wine. And it smells like eau de vie. Take a sip before you act, and you won't be afraid of anything. The homeless man laughed. I heard from Panin that you are also a famous person in Night City. Can you tell us what you have done to become famous in Night City? A homeless person next to him asked Yi Fei. Actually, it's nothing. It's just that the first time I consigned a lizard worth 200,000 euros, the next order is to go to the site of the Maelstrom gang to get a robot, and kill the group of reformers by the way. All the way to the back, these homeless people have looked at each other in blank dismay. What is your life called? Mitch glanced at Yi Fei in surprise. After all, Yi Fei went from transporting lizards at the beginning to destroying the stronghold of the Maelstrom gang twice, and then went head-to-head with the Tiger Claw gang twice. They didn't even dare to think about it. After all, with the size of their Atticado family, it's best not to offend both the Tiger Claw gang and the Whirlpool gang. Actually, it's nothing. The simplest reason is that my fists are harder than theirs, so they can only be beaten. Yi Fei said to several people. Everyone understands this truth. The little kids in Night City know who has the final say on whoever has the hardest fist. The problem is that you have to have such a hard fist. Yi Fei, how did you and Panin meet? Scorpion asked curiously. How did we meet? The first time I met Panin, I scolded Rog, the most powerful middleman in the city, in front of me. After that, I went to Stoneridge Mountain with Panin to get her car back. Panon, you are also very good. How dare you scold Rog? Mitch looked at Panin jokingly and said. The person she found cheated me and she didn't care. I don't blame him if I don't scold him. After giving Mitch a blank look, Panin took out a few sleeping bags and said, it's getting late, we'll deal with it here for the night, and take a good rest. A few people did not object. After all, the military technology convoy will arrive in more than 10 hours, if you don't take a good rest now, it will be bad if something goes wrong. Early the next morning, Panin crawled out of his sleeping bag and saw that Yi Fei, who was sleeping next to him, had disappeared. After looking around, I saw Yi Fei on the top of the train. Yi Fei was absorbing the sunlight when he felt a person climbing onto the roof of the car. Parnum, why don't you get some more sleep? Yi Fei looked back and saw that it was Panin, and asked with some doubts. I woke up. I don't have the habit of sleeping in the cage, but you, what are you doing here? Now Yi Fei's posture is similar to the meditation in martial arts novels. Panin has seen it in some chips. Me, I'm absorbing the energy of the sun. Come on, don't say it if you don't want to. The military technology convoy will arrive soon, remember to take the guy. Panin gave Yi Fei a blank look, completely disbelieving what Yi Fei said. Isn't he a tree that absorbs the energy of the sun? Yi Fei shook his head helplessly. Only Lucy and V would really believe him in this kind of thing, others would only think that Yi Fei was talking nonsense. After an hour, everyone was ready. Panin and Yi Fei were sitting in Tingwei, and after seeing that the others had also boarded the car, Panin honked twice at Carol on the signal tower. Started slowly, everyone's cars started up one after another, and the cars went off track and were speeding. Yi Fei, when we get close to the military technology convoy, they will send out drones. Do you want to use my machine gun on the roof or your gun? Panin asked. Use yours, you shouldn't have a problem shooting down those planes with a large machine gun. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he took out a wire and connected it to Panin's roof machine gun. This thing was made by Yi Fei just in case. The speed of the vehicle has reached 160 kilometers per hour. You must know that this is a bad land, and the road conditions are not as good as those in Night City. So even though Panin has been modified to make Tingwei's shock absorber effect very powerful, it still looks very bumpy. Soon, military technology discovered the convoy of Panin and several people, and at the same time sent dozens of military drones. Yi Fei manipulated the machine gun and waited for the dozens of drones to approach. The homeless people in other cars are all waiting for the drone to come into range. Boom boom boom. When the drone came into range, Yi Fei fired decisively. In an instant, Yi Fei directly shot down a dozen drones. If it wasn't for the overheating of Panin's machine gun barrel, Yi Fei would have shot down all of these drones in less than 10 minutes. Beautiful fight. Seeing that Yi Fei shot down so many drones at once, Panin shouted excitedly. There are more beautiful ones. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he directly activated the hacking system and hacked into the drone that was still in the air. Didi. A certain drone in the drone group in front of Yi Fei and the others suddenly pointed its gun at the drone next to it. Da da da. Yi Fei controlled the drone and knocked out 3 drones in a row, and then let the drone fly directly to another drone group. Drip drip drip. For a while, more than a dozen drones sounded alarms at the same time, and then exploded in series. Yi Fei, you are so awesome. Mitch, who was not far from Panin's car, shouted excitedly when he saw this scene. After all the drones were shot down, Panin and the others soon arrived near highway. Looking at the military technology convoy stopped by the train ahead, and one of the buses was carrying the magic lizard they had been thinking about day and night, Panin became a little excited. Everyone act according to the original plan. The lizard is close at hand. After driving the car to the predetermined location, Panin and Yi Fei got out of the car with their guns. The same goes for the other bums, most of whom are veterans of the corporate war and know what to do. They must win this battle. The wanderers are coming. All cheer me up and get ready for battle. The military technology people are not stupid, they have already started to arrange it when they saw the train blocked in the middle of the road. It's just that Yi Fei and the others broke through the drone swarm too fast, and they only took part of the bunker. These bloody nocturnal ghosts. The military technology team saw that the clothes Panin and the others were wearing were all from the Knife Society, and they didn't doubt that the people from the Scraper Club had grabbed more things from the lovers. It's just that there's been no movement these days. Didn't expect to attack their military technology fleet as soon as they make a move. The armed personnel of military technology are all in high spirits. Da da da. Boom. When Yi Fei's Yinglong hits these people, it occasionally produces a strong electromagnetic explosion, which is no less powerful than ordinary electromagnetic grenades. Mitch, Panin and the others were dumbfounded seeing Yi Fei's vigor. In the face of Yi Fei with full mobility and the Yinglong smart rifle in his hand, which can only lock the head, he can only accept the fate of being wiped out. Yi Fei, you are so awesome. You are indeed a mercenary with a face in Night City. Mitch and the others walked to Yi Fei's side and patted him on the shoulder and said. Good, Yi Fei said with a smile. This is the demon lizard. It's so awesome. With it, Arcador can walk sideways on the bad soil. Looking at the monster lizard in front of him, Mitch walked to the side and said as if stroking a rare treasure. These veterans all survived the previous company wars, and they knew the importance of this demon lizard to the Adicado family. The space for people to live in the Badland is very limited. Because of the company war, many places have become uninhabitable no man's land after being hit by nuclear weapons. Except for the big cities in a few places, there are basically not many places where people can live. So these people who wandered outside the city formed a homeless family to help each other. They didn't actually live in the current camp. It's just that some bigger families occupied their original camp. That's why I came to Night City. In Adicardo, there is actually no one who doesn't like Saul, but he likes this person because he is a good person. He is very good to everyone in the family, but this does not mean that he is a qualified leader. Saul is unwilling to take risks in dealing with anything, and would rather cooperate with unreliable biotechnology than go all out to snatch the monster lizard. Thanks to you Yi Fei this time, if it weren't for you, we would definitely lose the bell if we met someone from military technology. Panin actually predicted the approximate number of people using military technology. It's just that she didn't expect that they would bring dozens of drones here, and even stand in a part of the bunker, ready to fight. Transport the monster lizard back to your side first. If you don't leave, I'm afraid it will be too late. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Panin also nodded, the most important thing now is to transport the monster lizard away quickly. So Pannon called for people to take away the monster lizard with a transport vehicle, while Mitch put all the vehicles and corpses together and sprinkled them with gasoline. Once the fire goes down, it's all disposed of. In the Avocado camp, because Saul hadn't seen Pannon and Mitch for a long time, he already guessed in his heart what they were going to do. So people are being summoned to support them. Yes, he doesn't think that Pannon and the others can beat people with military technology. Saul, Pannon and the others brought the demon lizard back in a transport vehicle. At this time, a wanderer ran to Saul's side and said with some excitement, pointing in a certain direction. Seeing the monster lizard that had been transported back, Thor's face suddenly became gloomy. When Pannon got off the car, he saw Saul approaching aggressively. I did everything. I also made the plan. It has nothing to do with Mitch and the others. Pannon took all the responsibility on himself. Saul, our operation went smoothly with no casualties. At this time, Mitch walked between Saul and Pannon and said together. Pannon, did I say that you are not allowed to snatch military technology convoys? Look, I can see such a big military technology logo from several kilometers away. Saul roared angrily. In his opinion, offending the military technology will make life difficult for the Avocado family in the future. Shut your mouth. Do you have a better idea? You just want to be a dog for the biotech people. You coward. The fate of Adeka can only be in the hands of us Adeka people. Pannon couldn't take it anymore. I'm going to host biotech people now, and I don't want to see this thing still here when I'm done. Saul did not choose to continue arguing with Pannon, but turned around and walked into the camp. When passing by a stool, he kicked the stool over. I really don't understand what Thor is thinking. We got all our stuff back. You want us to make him disappear? Pannon leaned against the transport vehicle carrying the monster lizard and said. Pannon, don't worry. In fact, Saul wanted to save you just now. You see, everyone is holding something in their hands. A homeless person came out of the camp and said. Hearing this, Pannon's complexion improved a bit, but his anger obviously did not decrease. After about half an hour, Saul came out again. Didn't I say to take this thing away? Why is it still here? Looking at the monster lizard that had been put down, Thor's expression became very ugly. Saul, no matter what, we have already robbed the demon lizard, and things have already happened. Can't you accept this reality? At this time, Mitch put down the work of checking the monster lizard, walked to Saul and said. But this thing will cause trouble for the Avocado family. I have a different opinion. Saul heard Yifei's words and turned to look at Yifei. You have no idea what the homeless family needs. Saul frowned. Saul, I know that you want the Avocado family to become better, and I also know that you want to strive for a better life with the least cost. Quote. But have you ever thought that to survive in the bad land is to rely on bloodshed and shoot out with the gun in your hand? I belong to the Buckle family. Because our family was too weak, it was disbanded and annexed. My current reputation and money in Night City did not come from earning every step of the way, but from my punches and guns. Don't you rely on biotechnology when someone comes to attack your Avocado family in the future? Do you want the fate of your people to be in the hands of those company dogs? Saul, you really need to change your thinking. Yifei's words resonated with all the veterans present. They have all participated in corporate wars, and they all know the company's virtues. Biotechnology is definitely the fastest one. At that time, don't we have to rely on them, the members of the Avocado family, to carry it? Wang Zhao. In the cyberpunk world, you are only qualified to be reasonable if your fist is hard enough. Saul, what Yifei said is right. Didn't we rely on our guns when we first came out to do it? Scorpion walked to Saul's side and said. Perhaps you're right. After a long silence, Saul raised his head and said. Scorpion's words reminded him of the days when he had just entered the Badlands and led his comrades out of a camp in this harsh land. In the past few years, it may be because there are more and more people in Avocado, but Saul is timid in making decisions about various things. Fear of losing this and fear of losing that, but the life of a vagabond is a killing itself. The consequence of being timid is that the camp of the Avocado family can only be relocated, and finally came to this place where the water supply is difficult. I can see that you don't look very good after the negotiation. it should be that the conditions offered to you by the biotechnology company are not very good. They are only willing to pay us with the previous remuneration, and the treatment remains unchanged. Is this the result of your compromise? Saul, you should see the face of biotechnology clearly. When Pannon heard Saul's words, he sarcastically said, "The guys in this group of companies are simply a group of beasts." When they defended their property for them, the Adicado family, they were often killed by members of the Chaos Knife Society, but the rewards they got were barely enough to eat. Now that you have the monster lizard, you can fight for a better living environment for the family, and you don't need to talk to the biotechnology people anymore. They just treated you as a rag from the beginning. Yi Fei pointed to the monster lizard beside him and said, "I understand what you mean, Yi Fei, but the days of licking blood are no longer suitable for Adicado now." Saul said slowly, "What if we snatch good land with the help of the monster lizard for a while? We don't have advanced planting technology and gene seeds. You must know that biotechnology not only makes money by making medicines, but also has the world's most advanced biological cultivation technology and planting technology that companies such as Araba and Kangtao do not have. If we can't find a way to continue to develop, will Adicado go back to the way he used to rob convoys and other families? What's the difference between the and the night ghost? Speaking of technology, I once went to a biotech company and I downloaded this stuff from one of their computers." Yi Fei borrowed a blank chip from a homeless man, and handed part of the biotechnology cultivation technology to Saul. "In it, is it the cultivation technology and planting technology of biotechnology?" Saul asked with some doubts. "Whether it's real or not, don't you know by looking at it yourself?" Hearing Yi Fei's words, Saul inserted the chip into his own data slot. After about 10 minutes, Saul was very excited. The information Yi Fei gave him contained several seed materials and planting techniques that were first developed by biotechnology. Even with the conditions of their Adicado family, it can be done. "Yi Fei, you are the great benefactor of our Adicado family," Saul said very excitedly, holding Yi Fei's hand with both hands and said, "Don't thank me in a hurry, I have conditions. I need a 50% commission for the crops you grow." Yi Fei withdrew his hand from Saul's. He was not a man, although he gave these things to Adecco, but Yi Fei wanted to collect money. "No problem. You provided these things to us in the first place, even if it cost 7. Aha, anyway, Yi Fei, you are welcome to the Adicado family in the future." Saul almost said that he could even get 70% of the profit, but he reacted very quickly and stopped the car. Although Yi Fei said that if he received 50% profit and only provided technology, some people in the tribe would definitely think he was black, but Saul didn't think Yi Fei's conditions were too much. After all, the most important thing is technology. Much has no chance of being converted into useful labor. Yi Fei does not recommend charging more. Since these technologies are a waste in his hands anyway, it might as well be handed over to the Adicado family for operation, and he only needs to collect part of the proceeds. Saul should know what to do. "I'm going to find the technicians in our camp first. Yi Fei, just take a look around here." Saul took the chip and left. "Yi Fei, you just handed over all these technologies to Adecco. Aren't you afraid that we will run away?" Pannon walked to Yi Fei's side and asked, "I trust you to do it." Leaving this sentence behind, Yi Fei walked to the place where the monster lizard was placed. "How is it, Mitch? Did the installation go well?" Seeing the demon lizard that had been half installed, Yi Fei asked. "It's pretty smooth. We've seen this thing before. It's an old antique from 2060, but it's been a long time since I touched it. Now we need to see if it's suitable." Quote. Mitch tapped the monster lizard with the wrench in his hand and said, "It should take about 2 days for us to assemble this thing, and some parts still need to be repaired. Maybe they were hit by stray bullets during the fight just now." Scorpion came over at this time and said, "Oh, can't you come and expose me later?" When Mitch saw the Scorpion BCEG coming over, he directly saw through what he said, and said with a bit of hesitation on his face, "Haha, Yi Fei is almost becoming one of us now. What are you pretending there?" To be honest, when they saw Pannon and Yi Fei standing together, they already imagined that they were together. After today's battle, they recognized Yi Fei even more. Not only are they powerful in combat, but they also have brains. The most important thing is that they think that Pannon should have fallen in love with Yi Fei. So from their point of view, Yifei will be their person sooner or later. Go to NM's Scorpion, hurry up and repair the magic lizard. Picking up a stone and throwing it at the feet of the scorpion, Pannon couldn't stand it anymore. Although she liked Yifei a little now, it didn't mean she was willing to let Mitch and the others joke around. Mitch and the others like to make jokes. You don't want to suggest it, but the demon lizard will definitely not be able to pretend within today. I will call you when they fix it. Okay, then I'll go back first, see you next time. After Yifei finished speaking, he walked out of the camp, chose a place where no one else could see, and flew away directly. Villas in North Oaks. Yifei patted the sand off his body and walked into the villa. Yifei, you're back. By the way, the chips you ordered online arrived this morning. Lucy said, pointing to the box on the living room table. It is good. Yifei walked to the table and picked up the box, opened it and saw that it was the chip he needed, and nodded. Yifei has been thinking about whether there is any way to eliminate the side effects of the prosthetic body since seeing those cyberpsychosis before. Now he also has time to think carefully about this question that has troubled him for some time. Inside the room, Yifei is typing on the keyboard violently. Yifei's understanding of cyberpsychosis should be that the prosthetic body corrodes the human body's spirit, and when it reaches a certain level, it will lead to the outbreak of cyberpsychosis. Of course, there are also environmental factors mentioned above. Yifei officially focused on this point and wanted to try to see if he could make a chip that could replace the human spirit and receive erosion from prosthetic body parts. People around her have installed prosthetic bodies. Yifei is actually worried about them now, and you must know that V does not have any relic chips on her body to help her share. Although Yifei checked the empty relic chip that he had used, he couldn't guarantee that there was anything else in it. After all, there are some things that cannot be tested without instruments, not even the current Yifei. So now he is running his super brain crazily. It can be said that this is the most violent use of Yifei's brain since he came to this world. Even Yifei would feel tired in this state. 2 days passed in a flash. I finally figured out NTMD. Yifei looked at the chip in his hand with wide eyes and said. To be honest, it is really difficult to simulate a neural unit chip that can fool the erosion of the prosthetic body. If you want the scientists in this world to do research, even if you give them the most advanced equipment to do research, it will take a long time. The investment is too large, and there are not so many cyber mental illnesses now, and more ordinary people just install some prosthetic bodies that are useful for life and will not install too much. Therefore, those who suffer from cyber mental illness are generally those mercenaries or soldiers, and such people are only a minority. Companies will not do things that invest a lot of money and have a low rate of return. This kind of thing is thankless. But Yifei still came out. It only took him 2 days, and it was nothing important anyway. Although the market for this thing is small, it is relatively large compared to large companies, and it is relatively large for individuals like Yifei. Yifei, I approve of you showing this to your friends, but Rube said that if you manufacture it in large quantities, it may cause irreversible consequences. Johnny appeared next to Yifei at this time and said with a solemn face, Johnny has also seen what Yifei is doing in the past 2 days. You mean that if it is sold to the group of mercenaries, it will cause these people to abuse the prosthetic body? Yifei probably knows what Johnny means. Once this thing comes out of the market, most people who want to install a prosthetic body but are afraid of cyberpsychosis will use the prosthetic body recklessly if they get this chip. Johnny didn't speak, but the silence meant that Yifei had said what was on his mind. I know what you mean, Johnny, and I don't mean mass production. What Yifei said made Johnny breathe a sigh of relief. Although he was crazy in doing things, he was not crazy in others. In fact, Yifei doesn't need to pay attention to his feelings at all. After all, as long as Yifei is willing, Johnny can't even speak. Ding. Call reminder. Judy Alvarez. After putting away the chip, Yifei received a call from Judy. What's wrong, Judy? Yifei asked. Yifei, actually, I think Xiao Ai's mood has stabilized these 2 days, and I think it's time to take her to see a doctor. Okay, I'll go now. After speaking, Judy hung up the phone, and Yifei drove V's Viper, which had been completely remodeled, out. Half an hour after the big change, Yifei drove to the downstairs of Judy's apartment. Go to Judy's house and knock on the door. Hollow square, hollow square, hollow square, hollow square, hollow square. Yi Fei, you are here, Evelyn is sitting in the room now, you go and see her. Zhu Di opened the door and said after seeing Yi Fei. Yi Fei nodded, walked into the room and saw Evelyn sitting on the bed holding a cup of coffee. Remember me, Evelyn. Pulling a stool from the table in the room, Yi Fei sat in front of Evelyn and said. You are. Evelyn looked at Yi Fei blankly, and spoke very slowly. It seems that it is difficult to speak because the behavior chip has not been repaired. Well, Evelyn seems to have lost her memory since she became sober. She doesn't even recognize me, sometimes she just sits there for a whole day, and she doesn't even know she's incontinent. When Judy said this, she didn't mean to be disgusted, but felt sorry for Evelyn. Yi Fei touched Evelyn's shoulder with his hand, and found that she did not show any expressions or movements of disgust or fear. It seems that he has really lost his memory. Think on the bright side, Judy, this is a good situation for Evelyn. If it were Evelyn in the past, she might commit suicide knowing that she has experienced all the abuse. Quote. Yi Fei said to Judy. There was a few seconds of silence. You're right, maybe this is the best choice for Evelyn. Judy nodded in favor of Yi Fei's idea. Then let's take Evelyn to the doctor without further ado. Yi Fei walked out of the room as he said that. Evelyn was only wearing a t-shirt now. Since she was going to go out, Judy would definitely change her clothes for Evelyn. After a few minutes, Judy helped Evelyn who was dressed and walked out of the room. Is Evelyn's leg still okay? Seeing Judy supporting Evelyn, Yi Fei frowned and asked. No, although Xiao Ai can barely walk 2 steps, it should be because of the problem of the behavior chip that Xiao Ai can hardly walk now. Judy shook her head. She had been trying to get Evelyn to recover these days. It's a pity that the effect is not great, and Evelyn's problem is that the behavior chip is malfunctioning. No matter how hard Judy tries, she has to go to the prosthetic doctor's clinic to fix it. How long do you have to walk like this to get downstairs? After Yi Fei finished speaking, he went over to pick up Evelyn, and said to Judy, let's go, I have contacted Lao Wei just now, and he has a brand new behavior chip, which should be able to cure Evelyn. Quote. Thank you, Yi Fei. When Zhu Di heard Yi Fei's words, she also quickly thanked her. After going downstairs, Judy was stunned when he saw the Viper driven by Yi Fei. After all, Yi Fei usually drove the Sword and the Stone to go out. Now suddenly driving a homeless car, which surprised Judy a little. What, was it a surprise to see this car? Yi Fei said with a smile, although this Viper has been equipped with many top-level accessories by V, it is still just a Viper in essence. 0. No, it's just that you usually drive a super sports car like the Sword and the Stone when you travel, but now you suddenly see you driving a Viper, and you don't react. Zhu Di shook her head and said, she knew Yi Fei's identity as a homeless person, but Yi Fei's voice and actions since entering the city are not so consistent with those homeless people who are usually careless. This car is V's favorite car. When it was scrapped on the edge of the city, V tried to get it back. Yi Fei put Evelyn in the back row while talking. Thanks. When Yi Fei put Evelyn in the back row, Evelyn looked at Yi Fei and said 2 words slowly. This stunned Judy and Yi Fei for a moment, but they didn't care. Did Evelyn lose her memory or become mentally handicapped? She could still speak basic language. Start the vehicle and rush to Lao Wei's clinic. Yi Fei, what do you think I should do if Evelyn has been in a state of amnesia? Looking at the bustling street outside the window, Judy put one hand on his chin and asked. There's nothing to do. After the behavior chip is repaired, Evelyn should be able to take care of herself, and you can bring her to work together. What can Yi Fei do? His understanding of Evelyn is only at the game level. Yi Fei, I'm actually thinking about whether to send Evelyn away. Send Evelyn away. That's right, I don't think Evelyn should be bound by this city anymore. Although she is responsible for all of this, Evelyn has already paid the price. There was nothing unusual on Judy's face, but very calm. This is not like you in normal times. Yi Fei said with a smile. It doesn't look like I usually do. What aspect are you referring to? Judy's tone rose a little. Haha, this is what you usually look like now. Keep your mentality, this is one of the few things left in this city. In this way, the two chatted one after another, and arrived at Victor's clinic half an hour later. Misty, V is in the clinic. Yi Fei walked to Misty's divination hut and asked, while Judy walked behind them with Evelyn. Victor is already waiting for you inside. Is this the patient you brought? Misty looked at Judy and Evelyn behind Yifei and said, well, by the way, what has Jack been doing these days? I haven't contacted him for a while. Yifei asked curiously. Don't mention it, that guy has to go to some kind of boxing championship match. The day before yesterday, he went to the Kabuki district to challenge someone, but that person insisted that the two of them are the same person. Fortunately, Jack's skill is good and they didn't let them beat them all up. The day before yesterday I went to the valley area to challenge a man named Buck, but he fell in love with the sniper rifle and insisted on placing some bets. Although he won, that Buck still wanted to cheat, but Jack finally got the reward back gone. Yesterday he went to the valley area to fight with a guy named Caesar, and although he won, he left all the betting money and card to him, saying that he still has a wife who is 9 months pregnant, and let that Caesar be nice to his wife. Hearing this, Yifei also laughed out loud, which is very in line with Jack's behavior style, and immediately asked, then what happened after that? Then it was the person who went to the Coronado countryside today to challenge an animal gang. It seemed to be called a rhinoceros. It should be almost the same time. After Misty finished speaking, Judy helped Evelyn to the back door of the divination cabin. Let's not talk about Misty, I'll send Evelyn to old Vina first. Yifei walked up to Judy and Evelyn after speaking, and carried Evelyn down the stairs. Pulling open the iron gate of the clinic, Victor is sitting and drinking tea inside. Here, are you holding a patient? Victor saw Yifei enter the clinic holding Evelyn and asked. Yes, Evelyn's behavioral chip was damaged by someone, and it is still in her body now, and she has lost her memory. I don't know why. Putting Evelyn on the operating chair, Yifei went to Lao Wei's desk and picked up an unopened bottle of drink and drank it. Well, I have already prepared the behavioral chip you asked me to prepare. You can go out and wait for a while. I will give her a full body check to see if there is anything wrong. Hearing Victor's words, Judy felt a little worried. With the lesson from Brother Finger last time, she didn't really want anything to happen to Evelyn. Judy, Lao Wei is one of us, you can trust him, we all come to him to install and repair the prosthetic body. Patting Judy on the shoulder, Yifei knew what Judy was thinking. Okay, Victor, really please heal Evelyn, I'll pay you. After hearing what Yifei said, Judy no longer felt worried, but she still begged Victor. Don't worry, when you come here, I promise her body will be complete and beautiful. Victor also saw Judy's thoughts, but he was not angry. After all, there were too many prosthetic doctors with poor skills and bad character in Night City. Without saying anything more, Judy and Yifei walked to Misty's divination hut and waited. And now there is a strong man in the divination hut. Oh, Yifei, I haven't seen you in days, Hermano's brother. Jack said when he saw Yifei. Well, I've been busy with some things these days, but you've had a wonderful time these few days. Yifei walked to Jack and said, hey, it's just a little hobby. I just won the Rhino in rural Coronado, and I'm going to the final tomorrow. Jack scratched his head when he heard Yifei's words, and then seemed to suddenly remember something. He ran to the trunk of an ancient Della Turbo R he bought for 30,000 2 days ago and took out a sniper rifle. The day before yesterday, I got it from the buck I beat. The Ice Storm and the KGB distributed it. Only 300 of them were made in total. That fool lost the punch and wanted to fight me, but he was killed. I got slaughtered. It's useless for me to hold this gun, so I gave it to you, Yifei. Putting the sniper rifle in Yifei's hands, Jack didn't hesitate at all. Okay, then I'll accept it. Yifei nodded and did not reject Jack's kindness. Judy, you're here too. Only then did Jack notice Judy leaning against the back door. Well, I brought Evelyn here for treatment, the one I told you to go to last time. Really? Relax, Chica, sister, if Victor can't be cured here, I don't know any doctor in Night City who can cure him. There was no answer, and Yeety's mind was still on Evelyn, who was still receiving treatment in the clinic. Hermano's brother, it seems that your pursuit is still far away. Seeing Judy's appearance, Jack leaned into Yifei's ear and said, come on, Les, I'm helping a friend, not as dirty as you think. After giving Jack a blank look, Yifei poked Jack's abdomen. It took about an hour before Yifei received Lao Wei's message. It's all healed, the operation was a success, you can come down now. Seeing this line of information, Yifei walked to Judy's side and said, Judy, Lao Wei said that he has finished it, and you can go and see it now. Real. After Zhu Di finished speaking, she hurried to the iron gate of the clinic, and then opened the gate. Judy. Evelyn, who was already able to walk on the ground, said with some doubts when she saw Judy. It's me. Judy. Evelyn, do you remember who I am? Seeing that Evelyn was able to get down to the ground and communicate normally, Judy hugged her directly. It's just that Yifei, who came to the clinic later, saw Evelyn's appearance and knew that Evelyn's memory had not recovered. I recognize you, Judy, and thank you for always taking care of me. Evelyn, who was hugged by Judy, said. Hearing Evelyn's words, Judy also let go with a face full of disbelief. She looked at Victor and said, Victor, hasn't Evelyn's memory recovered? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.